Okay. So, this is going to be an interesting one. So, I've been having a lot of discussions lately with people about relationships, the way that people operate, things that apparently women don't understand about men. Right? And so I was asked to have a live about this so that we could discuss it as a collective. Right? Because I think something that's missing is understanding the male side of things. Right? And when I say that, I mean that in basically everybody's taught that anything that has to do with being male has been given reclassifications to make it into something negative so that you don't know what to expect out of your partner except for the negative things that you've been told exist. So, what up, Tobias? What we're going to talk about is the root of how men operate so that this can be understood in a clear, easy way. So, ladies, however many are going to be in here for this, I don't even know how this is going to go. But, understanding the way that men think is a very simple way for you to be able to understand the things that they do. Right? See, as men, we're all taught these tests that we're supposed to give you guys, to check your character and to check how you operate in a team environment, to check, we're given little tests and little things for us to look for. I don't think you guys are given that anymore. Right? You guys aren't given the test to give to men anymore. Instead, it's just like, this idea of fuck them. And which is, that's the generation of, that's the way that the new generation of men are being raised as well. Right? And that's because of a lack of understanding of things. So I'm just going to wait for, hold on, let me share this to a couple people real quick that wanted to talk about this subject. Give me 1 second. Pink. Where is Coco? She wanted to discuss this herself. She had some questions that I thought would be good for everybody. Send this one out. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? So, maybe if I did this that other way, right? Take it out of there. And hey, what's going on, man? Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate that. See, look, great. Like, okay. I guess we'll start with a subject that seems to be floating around the general public lately. Right? Monogamy versus what's the other one? Polygamy, right? Monogamy versus polygamy, right? Why, right? A lot of women get upset about the fact that it's always a one man and a multiple female situation, right? You have to understand that goes with nature, right? Most animals in the jungle, most animals in the wild travel in pack mentalities, right? And then the leader is the one that is used to reproduce for better genetics for a more fit species in the future. That's nature. So, polygamy versus being solo, right? Let's talk about this for a second, right? Polygamy will never work when it's one woman and multiple men. These are fallacies. The reason that it never works this way is because man is meant to inherently in nature has a desire to be in the number one spot, right? So you can't have multiple men in a polygamy type relationship. It's never going to work. The reason behind that is because, in all honesty, men are too petty for that shit. It's our natural need to be the leader and the protector and the guardian and all these things. It's not natural for us to share that. In a pack mentality, there's the lead man, right? And then it's a bunch of females. And then if another male comes across the pride, guess what? That's a problem, right? So when we're talking about polygamy versus monogamy, right? Monogamy is almost unheard of. It's almost unnatural. There's not very many. I'll put it to you like this. Monogamy is such a rare occasion in the animal kingdom. And yes, you're part of the animal kingdom. Okay. You have all the natures of all the animals within you. Monogamy is so rare in the animal kingdom that they make examples of it when they find it, because it's so against how everything else in the world works. Monogamy is not something that is necessarily a productive thing. In fact, that's the destruction of everybody's relationships 99% of the times, is being monogamous. Because one, almost nobody is. You see, this is the thing, right? Is this whole monogamy shit is an experiment, right? And it's going wrong. It doesn't work, right? This is why the women end up all miserable and shit in the long-term relationships, and the men end up... Do you know why that is? I want you to think about this for a moment, right? When you're monogamous, right? Regardless of the fact that you're monogamous, you're still talking to a bunch of other women, right? Whereas men, we don't get together and talk about our personal shit. We don't. Because that's our burden to bear. We know the choices that we choose, and we accept fully our responsibility in those choices. And so when we get together, we get together. This is why women don't understand why men get together and don't speak of our personal shit. We don't speak of our personal shit for real when we come together, unless it's something that is like life threatening or like, you know, life ending. Not life ending as in physically ending somebody's life, but as in my world is crumbling apart literally and I have to. Like, and there's a very, very slim group of people that we will present these problems with. The reason is, right, is because this is what happens, right? Now look, right? Men, we don't brag. Right? These are things that men don't. These are the things I'm explaining to you right now are things that men don't do that women do, and why it's destructive for you to be in a monogamous relationship. Listen to this for a second, right? When men get together, we hang out, we kick it, we do whatever the fuck we're doing. Things that don't get brought up when we hang out is how good our girlfriend is, how amazing she is, because we don't want our boys thinking of our girls in that way, right? It's natural, okay? These are things. This is why all men freak out when their business gets put in the streets. It's because of the fact that men do not converse over these things when we hang out. We hang out to get away from all of these things, right? So when we get together, we go and do stupid, mindless activities together because it's fun. And we trust each other and we have respect amongst each other. You guys don't have that in the women kingdom. Y'all have envy. Y'all have mistrust issues. Every female friendship. Hey, which female in the chat right now? Put a 1 in the chat. If your typical friendship that you have is, oh, I couldn't stand that bitch. Right? And then that became your friend. Tell the truth, yo. Because I've heard this from almost every single fucking woman that I've met in my life. Their friends, they really couldn't fucking stand them in the first place. That's not how it works with men. We don't build friendships with our enemies. That's not something that we do at all whatsoever. When we find somebody to be a fucking problem, we don't build with them. Okay, you're that. All right, you need to stay the fuck over there with that shit. That's how we operate. That's why we have such good trust between our friends and why we know that we can depend on them, right? The only thing that women can really depend on their female friends for is bringing drama into their life. That's it. Why? Because y'all are constantly in competition. Always. You're in competition with yourself, right? And you attack yourself based on the world that's around you, which is why you do things and, put on extra makeups and put on all of that. That's an attack on yourself, whether you guys can come to terms with that or not. And men, we understand this. This is why we generally tend to avoid women that wear a lot of makeup. The reason behind that, right? If you notice the women that you see that are famous, that are all dolled up all the time, have all the plastic surgeries and shit like that, haven't you noticed that they can't hold a fucking relationship to save their life? Why do you think they're always making that angry music about how their relationships are horrible and blah, blah, blah? It's because that's what they're living through because of their choice. Because of how they're displaying themselves. No man in his right mind that was solid in his fucking foundation would want to be around that. It's nice to look at. Don't get it twisted. We're all men. We like to look. We like to look. But one thing that you learn very quickly as a man is that loving something doesn't mean you have to have it. Liking something doesn't mean that you have to have it. We learn rejection from a very, very, very young age. Y'all do not do well with rejection on any type of level whatsoever. Right? Now, no. If you make an enemy out of a friend, if you make a friend out of an enemy, that's going to be your fucking enemy, my guy. That is a fallacy and a thought, because it's not that you find a friendship in that. It's that you have a solid truth, because they're very expressive in how they conduct themselves, and you know exactly what it is that you're signing up for when dealing with that person. That's not the same thing as bringing somebody into your circle. That's acknowledgement. That's keep your enemies close, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. That's not the same thing as befriending them. You understand? There's a big difference between those two things. Mm-hmm. Now, this is the thing, right? Mm-hmm. Now, this is the thing, right? Monogamy versus polygamy. The reason that polygamy doesn't work with multiple men is because of the fact that we have an inherent nature to be in the top position. That's a security thing that we have born within us. All right. That's why all men thrive to be the best in whatever it is that they can be the best at. And that's where that comes from. You see, when we engage with a woman, right, all of our plans automatically shift. Okay? We can't help it. This is why we're so very fucking careful about the women that we get involved with. Is because immediately upon a man deciding that he likes a woman, he's already started making pictures of how he's got to adjust his life before he even talks to her, or when he's talking to her for the first time. In the back of his head, while he's learning her, he's learning the things that he won't be able to do and things that he would be able to accomplish. Now, this unravels further the closer that you get to somebody, which is why you need to get to know fucking people before you do anything with them. Okay? Because time tells all things, right? All that fake, hey, what's up, Dave? What's up, man? All the other shit, hey, good afternoon. Wait, like, you got to think about this for a moment, right? Like, a lot of y'all be looking at us like we're crazy for the shit that we do when we can't help a lot of the things that we do. Right? And making mistakes like, okay, look, right? Like, I want you to think about this for a minute, right? Now, all of y'all have been following me for years. You've seen me irately curse people out and flip the fuck out on people for challenging me too much on a live. Why? Because I'm spiritual. What's that mean? That doesn't mean that I have to remain calm at all times. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to get pissed off. That doesn't mean that I don't get upset. That means that when I do, I'm chopping the head off the snake. One way or the other. You understand? Because in nature, right? And that's what spiritualism really is. It's operating within the confines of nature and exploring those bounds. So understand this, right? Thinking that because a man is spiritual means that you can berate him, belittle him, say whatever the fuck you want, act however the fuck you want, and he's just supposed to remain calm is false. Okay? Anybody will snap under these conditions, right? So if you go into an idea thinking that you're a dominant woman and that you're going to find you a spiritual man and you can just talk to him however he does and he's not going to react to that the way other men would, you're right. It'll take a longer time for him to get to that point. But there's a very legitimate torture method that they use to extract information from people called the Chinese water torture. Now, if you've never heard of Chinese water torture, let me explain to you what it is. What they literally do is tie you down and they put a giant thing of water right above you. And that giant thing of water that's right above you sits there and just drips. And all it does is drip, one drip at a time. Now, mind you, right? Mind you, a normal person would snap after the first couple minutes, right? Somebody that is grounded and founded in themselves, it will take them a longer portion of time before they lose their fucking mind from that consistent dropping, right? But eventually, it's going to get to the point to where those drops break that person's character because it will drive them insane, the repetitiveness. You understand? At that point, that person will snap. They will break. It doesn't matter whether you can get Gandhi. You could take Gandhi into a room. Right? Look, perfect example, right? Perfect example. Gandhi was this peace guru, right? Did you know that Gandhi smacked around his women? Gandhi was seen as like this giant fucking symbolism of peace, right? And trust and believe that the things that he spoke and the things that he taught peace throughout the entire world. Literally. But then people were like, I can't believe you smacked your woman. Gandhi was he was spiritual. What's that mean? How's the animal kingdom work? All right, so in the animal kingdom, let's think. Everybody likes to compare themselves to lions, right? Everybody likes to compare themselves to lions. So let's talk about lions for a minute, right? Let's bring them up here on the screen real quick. Hold on one second. Let's get some lions on here. It's in here somewhere. Hold on. Bing, bing, bing. Oh. No, not just the cats. We want the lions specifically. Hold on. Because everybody wants to compare themselves to lions these days. Oh, I'm a lioness and I'm a king and I'm a... Okay. All right, let's talk about that for a second. Because a lot of y'all not going to like this, right? Ladies, rule number one inside of the pack, which is called a pride, of course, because you have pride in the pack that you're in the first place, right? All right, I don't have the specific lion one on here, so I guess we'll stick to cats. All right, I want you to think about this for a second, right? Everybody wants to compare themselves to lions and shit. Do you know that in a pack of lions that there's like as many females as humanly possible outside of the male that leads the pack, first off? That's the first thing that you need to know about that, right? Secondly, what you need to know about that is all those females that are in that pack will jump a male lion that comes anywhere near the other male while he's sleeping. They'll protect from it, not go and play with it, not go and talk to it, not go and entertain it, none of that shit. Okay? Now, check this out, right? So this is the thing, right? So while comparing yourself to the lion or the lioness, right, I want you to think about the things that you're missing, right? Because they're like, oh, I'm a lioness because I protect my cubs and da-da-da. No, okay, so where's the other part of the lioness at? Where's the part where you're submitting to the male right? Because all female lions submit to the king, period. It's not even a question or a debate, because if they don't, the other ones will rip that one to shit and get rid of it. And that'll be lunch. You understand? Now, this is funny. I find this very entertaining because, you know, while y'all are in monogamous relationships, you're also not at the same time. Because the thing is that you all, just like the lioness, have your own pack of women that you deal with. Right? You don't talk to a bunch of men. If you do talk to a bunch of men, I guarantee you're not in a relationship. And if you are, it's not for very long. That's not going to work with any man. Ever. Like ever, ever. Being around other men when you're supposed to be, whether you're just talking to somebody or whether you're actually in a relationship with somebody, being around a bunch of men is not going to work for another man. Why? Because that means that that's something that he's not able to guard you from if something goes fucked up in that time. You're making his job difficult. Right? Okay. Now, understand this for a second, right? None of you are really looking for monogamy. You think that you are because that's what they've made popular for the times, right? But none of you are actually looking for monogamy. Monogamy will destroy you. This is why all the houses are falling apart now. Is because they tried this monogamy bullshit, which started in like the 1930s and shit. Okay? Now listen to me. Listen. All right, I want you to think about this for a moment, right? Okay, so every one of you has a circle of about 3 or 4 women that you call your friends. Every single last one of you, right? Now, the problem is that first off, that person that you're claiming is your friend now was somebody that you thought was a piece of shit, a bitch, and competition when you first met her. Every single one of the people that you think is your friend right now, outside of that one that you grew up with, everybody else was competition when you met them, right? Y'all laugh and joke about this with them as you have these conversations. But the thing is that competition never died just because you befriended them. See, that was keep your enemies close and your friends close. That's where that bullshit comes in. No, it's all right. Look, listen, this is the thing, right? So I want you to realize, yeah, you're not even hearing it. Get out of your feelings for a moment and let me explain this to you, right? Because no, fucking polygamy isn't going to be for everybody because some of you don't know how to operate in a group in the first place. Some of you can barely operate with one partner, let alone multiple. But that's a whole nother aspect of this. You're already in polygamy. You just don't realize it. You're just in polygamy without the actual sleeping with the other person's partner. First off, most of you have gone for the same guy that your friend went for, or most of you have gone for the guy that's popular. Most of you have gone for the guy that everybody... Very rarely does the guy that doesn't get attention from everybody ever get a chance to get a date. That's a fact. You know why? Because it's inherently built into your nature to be attracted to the thing that shows the most prosperity or shows the most... Okay, how can I explain this? The reason that y'all go for the one that's most attractive is nature. Nature is the thought of going for the most dominant male, the one that seems to be the leader, the one that seems to be in charge, that seems to be out front. Now, the problem with that is a lot of y'all ended up going after the alphas because you weren't taught the difference between the type of leadership, right? You have the alpha, which is outwardly like, watch this, watch. Hey, ladies, put a 1 in the chat. How many of y'all started off dating the bad boy? Watch. Let me show you something. Put a 1 in the chat. If you started off in your life going after the bad boy, put a 1 in the chat. Oh, thank you, sissy. At least somebody can come in here and be honest. There we go. All right, good. We got some honesty in here because a lot of people left out because they couldn't handle the conversation. Look, let me tell you something, right? The reason that you went after the bad boy in the first place wasn't because he was a bad boy. The reason why you went after him, no, he was an alpha. No, the bad boy is the alpha. The reason that the bad boy is the alpha is because the reason that they got into the position of being the bad boy in the first place was because they were fighting people. They were talking shit to a bunch of people. They were fucking, going out and being a fucking drug dealer and shit, doing everything their own way and their own shit, right? Now, the problem with that is when you're dealing with an alpha is always going to turn abusive. Why? Because the alpha is constantly in competition all the time. He's not secure in himself. You understand? They're not secure in their ways. Which means now you got to realize, how do you spot an alpha male? Well, it's all the things that you were attracted to. Remember when you thought that you wanted the guy that had the fancy clothes, the fancy car, the fancy house, the fancy this, the fancy that, the big business, that's all alpha shit. Why? Because how is it easy to tell? Because everything that they do has to do with how other people view them. That's a man that's stuck in femininity. That's not a masculine man. That's a man that has to prove himself to the world, but the truth is that he can't prove himself to himself. So what's that mean? He's always going to be in competition, which means that you're always going to get cheated on, which means that you're always liable to get into a fight, which means that you're always liable to be traded out for the next best thing. Why? Because it has to be what looks good to society. That's the alpha. You understand? So, because of that, right? Now, so who would the alpha be in the Lion Kingdom? The alpha in the Lion Kingdom isn't the fucking one that has the pack with him. He's the one that roams the jungle by himself. Because the only thing that he does is go around flexing on other packs and other herds. So what ends up with the alpha? The alpha ends up with another alpha. Why? Because the only other person that's going to be in that much competition that's going to back him up to get is the other alpha. He's not going to be able to find that fucking mentality inside of a woman. So that's why they're going to keep bouncing from woman to woman over and over and over again. And if you notice, it always happens in rapid succession. There's never any time in between. There's never any time off. It's always, I lost that one. I got another one. Those are the ones that keep notches. Those are the ones that have to cheat multiple times. Those are the ones that are overly, look at me. That's your alpha. And you can spot them. They'll be dressed in fucking name brand shit from head to toe. Always worried about looking the best all the time. Always worried about how they're viewed. So what happens is you'll never get the truth because they're always worried about keeping you. And no matter what they do, they have to tell you a lie because they know that what they're doing is wrong for you, but it's right for them as far as they're concerned. So you get lied to. You'll get strung along until they find the next best thing. And you're never going to escape that as long as you keep dealing with alphas and bad boys and blah, 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 blah. Because at the end of the day, they're not even worried about doing anything for you. The alpha wants to know what you bring to the table. Right? The Sigma doesn't care what you bring to the table. It's, are you complementary to my peace? The beta will let you do whatever the fuck you want, but you're never going to be happy with the beta because you need a leader. Because you're a woman. Naturally, by nature, you're inclined to look for somebody in a leadership position. But the thing is that you've been taught to look at all alpha things as the leader that you were looking for. So a lot of you ended up dating the bad guy and get attracted when you see the outlaws on TV and you're like, oh, he's the bad guy, but fucking Manson was handsome. No, that's you being trained to go after the wrong shit. Now, the problem with that is that you've been with so many alphas, you don't know how to act anymore. And a lot of you are finding it very difficult because as you come into your peace, the sigma will slowly start to fall into your fucking, it's not that, look, let me explain it to you. When you're dealing with the alpha, that means that you have that competitive nature to you. Like you're giving into that competitive nature as well. This is why you can't have a, what do you call it? You can't have a polygamy when you're with an alpha. You can't, because the alpha's only doing it out of worry of, and then, you know, it becomes this whole thing of, you know, always trying to find the next better chick and shit. It's like that'll just constantly be going on, right? Now you experience polygamy every day. All of you go and talk to your girlfriends that are in relationships and shit like that, and they bring you all the stuff in their relationships. And first, whenever you look, I want you to realize this, right? And you can correct me if I'm wrong. Just correct me if I'm wrong. But when you talk to your girl, right? When you first start dating a dude, originally, first off, the first response is, "Oh, congratulations, oh, that's great," and everything like that. But that immediately turns, like, right around the corner, right? It goes from, "Oh, that's great," and then da 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 da, and then what happens is your girl, she's in a relationship, right? Now, because of the fact that this new guy that you're dating is doing all these great things in the relationship, she starts to compare that to how her dude is doing in her relationship. And then, so what happens is she first enjoys the fact that you found somebody that's doing, sorry, phone call came in, right? So first she'll enjoy the fact that you found somebody that's doing good for you, but secretly she'll start to fucking resent it. The reason that she'll start to resent it is because she's picking up on all the things that her man's not doing and comparing the two relationships, right? So what ends up happening is, because of the fact that you've got this new dude that's doing all these great things for you and you brag to her about it, she goes and puts pressure on her dude to change, which puts a problem in her fucking relationship because your dude's doing it, so how come my guy doesn't do it, right? So then that becomes, you know, then you don't even know that that's going on yet. So you come over, oh, y'all like to talk about y'all sex life for some fucking reason. Oh, you can't believe what he fucking did to me. He did. Y'all are very competitive and don't even know it. Men don't discuss. We don't discuss what our girls do in the fucking bedroom with our boys. The reason that we don't do that is specifically for the reason that I'm explaining to y'all right now. Is because of the fact that we, one, wouldn't want our friend to think of our fucking partner in that manner in the first place, because if they've seen your partner, they can picture them fucking naked, and that also gives them a visual image of fucking, which makes them what? Desire your fucking partner, first off. Not only does that create a desire, but that also creates a problem in the other household, right? These are things that y'all just gossip about, that y'all think are just normal conversations that you shouldn't be having. The reason that you shouldn't be having this is because you're creating a divide in your own house and somebody else's at the same time. But this is why I keep explaining to y'all. Y'all need polygamy, not fucking solo shit. You just don't understand it. Because whether you're in a polygamous relationship or whether you're in a monogamous relationship, you're still going to have that girl, that group of girls that you have to talk to. It's inherent. It's in your nature to fucking talk, because y'all are emotional creatures. Y'all deal with things on emotional levels, and men don't fucking, we don't give a fuck about the emotional aspect of shit. We give a fuck about the analytics. Okay. So y'all have to have girlfriends to talk to no matter what. The thing is that when you have a girlfriend that you're talking to that's outside of your house, what you're doing is creating a problem in her relationship, and she's going to bring that problem to your relationship because you're secretly in a competition with her at all times. Right? And whether you're the one that's the pretty one and she's the ugly one, or whether she's the prettier one and you're the not so prettier one person is always in a competition mode no matter what. You see, the ugly duckling will hang around with the swan in order to bring around other swans. The swan will hang around with the ugly duckling because having the ugly duckling around makes the swan feel more attractive. So either way, y'all get in fucking relationships that are built on competition one way or the other, which is why you can't have a monogamous fucking relationship. Because your monogamous relationship will always be ended by your friends. Because immediately upon you telling them all of the good things that are going on in your relationship, they're going to start complaining about all of those things that their man isn't doing. And then when they start complaining about those things, they start to secretly kind of like your guy. This is why a lot of y'all deal with your girlfriends fucking snatching your dudes after you. Is because of the things that you talk about with them. And you don't even realize it, but you're setting yourself up for the end of your own relationship and their relationship. And so once again, you're going back to monogamy where your friend is now after your dude because you fucking gave up the sauce on how he did this, this, and this, and she wants that for herself. But she doesn't know how to go and look for that out in the world because it's rare to find, so she just goes where it's already at. You gave your friend the pass to fuck your man before you even fucking realized it. Why? Because you're in a fucking polygamous relationship and you don't fucking recognize it and you're operating like you're monogamous when you're not. There is no monogamy. There's no monogamy. That's why you find the men that have children with multiple women. And the women that have children, majority of them have multiple baby dads. Why? Because one, first off, men want children. So you have to be able to give him children in the first place in order for him to truly be fucking interested in you. If you're dealing with, like a sigma, right? If you're dealing with a beta male or an alpha male, they're not going to give a fuck. The sigma knows that responsibility and purpose is to create a new world, a better world, and a new generation to enjoy that better world, right? And so that's our main prerogative, is how can we attain that peacefully? You understand? So when it comes down to these things, a lot of y'all have gone after men that had multiple fucking baby moms and shit like that, and you didn't give a fuck. Now you're wondering why it is that only alpha males approach you now. Those overly fucking pressuring, the ones that are always extremely out there. They don't mind sending you random dick pics and shit when you don't even ask for them and shit. That's alpha male shit. And that's all you're attracting right now due to the fact that by the choices that you've made shows where your mind was at, right? But the thing is you can move past that, right? You can move past that at some point, but it's going to take a little bit of work. You got to work on yourself. You got to work on retraining your own habits. Because right now, all of the habits that you portray welcome a certain class of character. Right? If you're overly exposing yourself, if you're constantly fucking dolling yourself up for attention, if you're constantly fucking, being overly exposed, we should say. You know what the fuck I mean, because women didn't always dress the way that women dress now. The only thing that you're going to attract with that is alpha males. The sigmas will look at you, and the betas won't even try it because they know that you got your pick of all the alphas and shit. So the betas ain't even fucking worried about the shit, So what you're doing is setting yourself up for failure. One, by trying to be monogamous in a polygamous setup, because it's always polygamous, no matter what. It's always polygamous. You always have girlfriends that you go to. You always have somebody that you have to talk to. The problem is that it's not being kept in one house. You get me? That's the big problem. And men can't deal with that. Men cannot deal with their business being on the streets. It's not natural for us. That's why when we go and hang out with our boys, we don't discuss our fucking personal lives. We go to play video games. We go to the bar to hang out. We get together and read books. We get together and fucking watch, Why do you think women, that's why y'all get so jealous of how men operate and how we maintain our friendships for so long and shit like that. That's the reason that y'all are jealous of that shit. It's because of the shit that you do in your own friendships that end that shit. And y'all keep keeping these people around that you've been in competition with. That's the weird part about it, is they'll go after your dude, they'll go after your ex, they'll fucking they'll ruin your relationship, all these things, and you'll get rid of your dude and sit around getting drunk with that person that helped you fucking end your relationship. And you don't see how that's your enemy in the first place. Why is she your enemy? Because y'all weren't in the same fucking household. So there was drama from other relationships that were being brought into your household. See, men don't get it. We don't get it because we don't discuss these type of things with our boys. That's not what we get together for. We get together for stress relief. Y'all get together and trauma bond over shit and create other scenarios in other people's relationships by the conversations that you have. Okay? Because they go, oh, my man's doing this, and this. And while you're thinking, oh, my man doesn't do that, that's great. You also start looking for signs of it because they keep insisting that, does your man do this? Does he do this? Does he do this? Now you're looking for problems in a place where there were none. Simply because you hung out with your friend and expressed that you were happy and she got jealous. Yes, Leah, we do give each other advice. This is the thing, right? But the difference is, this is the very difference, okay? Let me explain to you why we know, right? If we bring our personal shit to our boys, right? Our boys don't go, yeah, your girl's a piece of shit and da-da-da-da-da-da. No, your boy goes, you know what? You're a piece of shit and you fuck up here and you fuck up here. Are you sure this isn't your fault? Because for us, accountability is everything. And so we are accountable for our actions. This is why, like, you understand, this is the difference. We don't have friends that go, yeah, that's your fucking, yeah, he's a piece of shit. Yeah, he did this. No, we don't have frenemies that sit there and fuel us and try to convince us to do things that are fucked up in our relationship that we wouldn't do in our relationship. Our boys will... Are you fucking serious, bro? You know that you know that you got a slick mouth. Are you sure that you didn't fucking start that fight with her? Like, come on, bro. Like, let's just be real about this. Like, your boy will humble you because we deal with truth and fucking facts, analytics, and accountability. You understand? I got one of my friends will beat the sleeves off of any female that he's with, right? and I yell at him about this shit, right? But if I tell him, hey, look, I just got into it with a chick and I smacked, he'll be like, are you fucking serious? You don't, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I can't, like, do you understand? We know what we do that's wrong and we will fucking be like, yo, no, fuck that. You know that you were wrong for that shit. You understand? That's the way that men operate. We don't get together and pat each other on the back for our mistakes. Nor do we put everything on the partner because as men, we know that it's our job in the relationship. We know what our position is. We know what we're supposed to do. And no man is going to keep a yes man around him. Nobody likes men. See, this is the difference is y'all like to keep around women that, oh, fuck him. Yeah, let's fucking get drunk. Fuck him. Go talk to that guy. He's not fucking respecting you enough. You need to... That's the type of fucking females that y'all don't keep females around that correct you because y'all don't like to be held accountable. That's why you go to men when you want to be held accountable for something and you want a sound, reasonable answer to something. You don't go to your girlfriend for that. You only call your girlfriend up when you're pissed or super excited about something. Men, we just hang out with our boys when we want to fucking hang out. And we do that to hang out, not to vent our problems and not to fuck. You understand? So this is the thing, all right? You used to get sent to talk to your grandmother about shit because you know your grandmother came from that. Your grandmother would correct you. Your mom might not, right? Your mom might be your fucking competition because she might have been single, which means that she was looking at everything that you were looking at. I don't give a fuck what you say. Women look at younger men just as much as men look at younger women. Okay, attraction is attraction. The thing is that y'all try to deny so much shit. It's mind-boggling sometimes. But, like, if your mom's single, if you grew up in a single mother household, you grew up with a competition. Period. You didn't grow up in an environment where you could learn to be in a sound place. That's why your grandmother would correct you on shit that your mother wouldn't. You go to your mom, you're like, oh, mom, fucking, he was talking to me this way and that way. So, I ended up fucking around with his friend instead and shit. Your mom be like, yeah, fuck him. Why? Because she's a single fucking bitter woman. So she'd be like, yeah, fuck him. You know what? If he didn't do it right, then you move on to the next one. Your grandma would be like, you was a fucking hoe. You are a hoe. What the fuck are you doing? Didn't you get taught any kind of... Your grandma will put you in fucking check. You don't have that for this next generation. Because this next generation is growing up with the grandmothers that were in the single houses. They don't have any type of correction. See, that's one way to go about it, Floor. People, look, y'all don't realize you don't really need friends. You don't really need friends. You need maybe 3 people in your life. But you got to be careful on the people that you pick. Because you have to pick let me explain something to you. And this goes for your relationship too. The yes man that you get into a relationship with that has no boundaries because he has none in the first place. What does that mean? That means that he's not going to have boundaries for you. He's going to let you dress like a hoe. He's going to let you go out to fucking nightclubs with your friends. He's going to let you do all of these things. And I'm saying let because it's his choice to be in the relationship with you while you're conducting yourself in this manner. So yes, he's letting you do this. Okay? The thing is he's letting you do that because he's not tied to you in the first place. And that's what you don't miss. That's what you don't get. So you go with this not shit motherfucker that doesn't really give a fuck about you, that likes you dressed like a hoe, that likes you motherfucking dragging in all that attention, that likes you going out getting shit-faced with your friends and shit, doing that shit because he's going out being a hoe and hanging out with friends to be hoes. Okay, he's gonna have a circle of guys around him that's gonna back him up on all his hoe activities because he's a female. Don't take that the wrong way. He's feminine in his ways. He operates off of emotion. That's why he's the alpha in the first place. Alphas are the most feminine fucking men you can find. Okay, and so because of that. And why I say feminine is because y'all are in this great fucking competition, not only with the world, but with yourselves. Just like the alpha male. Are you going past the 1 hour or stopping? Fuck. Did I already hit an hour? Fuck it. We're just going to go. Thank you for the reminder, though. I appreciate that. But yeah, you got to remember, okay, I'm not going to say your name, but you know who I'm talking, you know I'm talking to you. When you met him, he was a beta. He was a beta with aspirations of being an alpha. You coddled him, he did everything that you said, and then it turned into him having a problem with all of your male friends. Because of the fact that he was a Sigma when you met him. I mean, he was a beta when you met him. And his beta turned into an alpha because of the energy that you put into him, which made him feel that fucking special, which put him into the idea of having to compete with everybody because he went from being a beta to an alpha. You can't... yeah. Okay? He went from being a beta into an alpha. Now, that is how that turned out. I remember everything that you said he did. I remember, but that turned into, oh, why are you always hanging out with them? Why are you trusting them? Why are you talking to him? Why isn't it me? And da-da-da. Because he found out that he needed to step up because of the type of people that you already hung around. That meant that everything that he was doing wasn't going to be good enough. And so then he became the alpha because he then became in competition with everybody and everything around you. That's where those problems stirred from. You get me? See, this goes into, can the leopard change his spots? He didn't change his spots because the beta is also very feminine. He didn't change his spots. He just grew into what he was going to grow into. Betas are very feminine. They're very walkoverable. You can step on them. You can tell them whatever the fuck to do, and they always do it. But that always turns into that alpha mentality because the alpha and the beta are borderline the same thing. Because they're both dealing with emotional aspects of things. You understand? The beta, the submissive one, the one that's always submissive, that has no bounds, that does whatever the fuck you say, he's always going to turn into an alpha by you enticing him, because he's going to think all these things and start to worry about all these things because he's a beta. He's always worried about somebody. Oh, are you okay? Are you all right? Are you good? Are we okay? Can I do anything for you? Do I need to do something for you? Is there anything that I can do for you? That's your beta. All right? That beta automatically becomes the alpha. Always. The beta always becomes the alpha. Why? Because they're both dealing with emotional shit. The sigma is the one that's least spoken of. Why? Because if you knew of the sigma, you wouldn't look for either one of those fucking characteristics. The sigma is going to have boundaries for you, but the sigma is also going to know what you like. They're also going to adjust their shit for you. And depending on how well you accept that, and if you can fit into the role that they're looking for the things that they're lacking, they'll continue, or they're going to cut it short with you. Because they have bounds. They're not worried about fucking appearance. They're not worried about, right? A sigma will leave you before you even get in the bed with them if they feel like you don't understand. That doesn't rule how we operate. The sigma male wants to wait. The alpha wants you immediately. The beta will wait for fucking ever until they become the alpha. And then it's, I need it now. It's an automatic switch. You understand? So the thing is that until you get yourself to a place of peace, you're never going to attract the sigma. Because the sigma doesn't care about your potential. The sigma doesn't care about what you really bring to the table. The sigma doesn't give a fuck what your appearance is. Your sigma doesn't, you understand? A lot of you have sigmas that have been around you that you might have lost your chance with because you friend zoned them. And they, of course, accepted. Right? But this is the thing. That's a very, very tricky thing to deal with. Let me explain something to you, right? Just as much, okay, right? Let me show you something. The guy that you think that you're not attracted to, that you think is your best fucking friend, that does everything for you and everything like that, He's only attracted to you because you're choosing him not to be attractive to you. Let me explain this to you. If this is how the ugly guy or the ugly girl gets the person at work away from their partner. Why is it? It's because feelings get developed over time. You understand? Feelings develop over time. Somebody that you would think that why do you think you see attractive women with ugly men? It's not the fucking money. It has nothing to do with the money. They probably weren't even attracted to that person at the first fucking glance at them. You understand? But over time, the recognition of how somebody takes care of you will lead you towards having feelings for them. You guys make the mistake of basing your relationships off of whether you're physically attracted to somebody from the jump. And yes, don't get it twisted. It is nice to be physically attracted to somebody. That's a bonus. That's supposed to be the cherry on top. Not the fucking source of where you decide whether you're going to allow somebody into your life or not. Okay? What y'all don't understand is that over time you will love somebody that you thought was unattractive to you, and they'll become the most attractive person to you by the things that they do for you out of nowhere. And you'll be like, I don't even know what happened. Like, I don't know. Like, I just don't see them like that. Why do you think the arranged marriages would work in other countries and shit? It wasn't because, it wasn't because it had to. What you don't know about those arranged marriages is that those daughters have the ability to leave those things. And not only if they left them, but it was also guaranteed that they would be taken care of after they left that dude. But if you notice, they stay anyway. The reason that they stay anyway is because of the fact that even though they had to marry somebody that they didn't even know, after spending like a year or two with them, that became, whether they were unattracted to them in the beginning, that became their fucking object of affection over time. Which means that basing a relationship off of how somebody looks is the last fucking thing that you should be doing and assuming is going to be the thing that makes you happy in the first place. You understand? Because a lot of you got into relationships and tried to make relationships work with people just because they were attractive. Fuck, I've done it too. You get me? We've all made that fucking mistake. And where'd that lead you? Right where you're at now. Okay? But this is one of the hardest things for people to do. Right? Because when you see something that's attractive, you think to yourself, oh, that's attractive to me. That's what I want to have. No, it's not. It's definitely not. Because what happens is you base it off that attraction, which means that you overlook the things that you don't like in the beginning. And those same things that you don't like in the beginning just become the same problems later on. Why? Because the rest of the shit that they do and the rest of their character makes them seem ugly as fuck to you. And then those things that you originally ignore, why did I fucking ignore that? I knew I wouldn't go. Hey. I'm just saying, like, you gotta think about these things. So back to what I was saying, right? So, majority of women nowadays have the problem of having dated these people and exchanged energies with them and had that put them into their own fucking state where, everybody's all guarded and protective and all this other shit now. And, dating's becoming a very difficult thing because of that. The thing is that in order for you to find what you're looking for, you have to be able to heal, forgive, accept, and be accountable for the things that you did that led to the actions that took place. Because me explain it like this. It's not that. Do you know why men don't try to rehash their problems in relationships? Do you know why it is? It's because you're supposed to leave that with that person. Yeah, eye to skies, that's never going to work for you. The reason why that's never going to work for you is because one, that's ignoring the fact that men go through shit too, right? And your partner is going to be the person that you're the harshest with, always. The reason is because they're the only one that knows the real you, and that's the person that's supposed to accept you. And so you can be direct with your partner in ways that you can't be direct with other people, which means that you're going to hurt your partner's feelings at certain times and shit like that. It's going to happen. If your partner doesn't hurt your feelings, they're probably not right for you in the first place, because that means they're letting you do everything without any care of how things turn out. There's going to be corrections in every relationship that you go to. It doesn't matter which one it is. There's always going to be alterations that are necessary. Okay, but Inda, look, let me explain it to you like this, right? Okay, see, that is alpha beta female mentality. That's the feminine alpha beta version, right? Okay, because the sigma female doesn't give a fuck how her man conducts himself. If she's chosen him, she's chosen him, and no matter what he does, she's always looking at why did it happen and trying to adjust that to maybe make it work, or she's going to keep her peace. The reason that she'll keep her peace is because no matter what he does can bring her out of character, right? And by her keeping her peace then puts him in check for the things that he's doing wrong. See, okay, look, the tit for tat shit that everybody tries to go through, that's if you're tit for tat, you're in the alpha beta. That's your spectrum. You're in the alpha beta spectrum. Tit for tat is alpha beta. Okay? Let me explain this. Right? Let me explain what I mean. Now, one of my friends has been here for... One of my friends of over like 20 years is in this chat right now, so she can verify the things that I'm telling you are true. Right? She'll tell you that when me and one of my exes, back when I was her age, was motherfucking, when we split and shit like that, right? Because of the fact that I'm a Sigma, which means that I love unconditionally and that I stand by my love and shit like that, no matter how fucked up shit gets, right? I always know that that's like my pocket. You understand? I'm very comfortable with that shit. She'll tell you that even though I do flirt with that ex every once in a while and shit like that, I also helped her get with the guy that she's now married to and saved him from going to fucking jail so that they could have that relationship that they have, because of the fact that it made a better peace between me and my ex. You see, an alpha male would never in their fucking life accept you or the person that you moved on to. The alpha male, the beta male, is just going to coddle behind you crying like a bitch for years. You understand? A Sigma is not going to be all that drama and shit that you go through with all the other fucked up shit. Right? They might have a moment where they break for a couple of seconds, but then it goes right back to, okay, I don't give a fuck. I love you, so I'm going to help you, and I'll move on with my shit. That's the difference. And if you didn't notice, I've been this way since I was a teenager. Since before I was a teenager, I've always been this way. You understand? The alpha and the beta cannot be the Sigma, ever. Ever. They will always be in the alpha or the beta mentality. or both. They can switch between the two because both are emotionally based, right? That's when you date that nerdy guy that does everything for you, and then he gets that big company, and then all of a sudden he wants to be the fucking pimp of the year and shit like that. And see, that's the perfect example of the alpha going to the beta going to the alpha. Okay. Oh yeah, I make mistakes. Inda. I get what you. I make mistakes all the time. I'm not perfect. That's the other thing. That's another thing. You're never going to find an alpha that can admit that he makes mistakes. And a beta will always think that everything that they do is wrong. Okay? These are how you tell these men apart. Right? Like, there's not one relationship that I've gotten out of where I didn't help my ex afterwards. Most of them, I've hooked up with people. And most of them, like, some of them dated my friends. Like, one of my friends he came and approached me and told me that he wanted to talk to the chick that I'd been fucking with and shit. And I was like, yeah, go ahead. I don't give a fuck. Why? Of course, I still had an emotional attachment to her because she was somebody that I loved. But I misjudged my friend because he was this kind person that almost never fucking approached women and shit like that. Always shy and stuff and real quiet and fucking friendly, right? And I thought that he would be a good match for her because she deserved somebody that was going to be good because, you know, just because shit that went with me and her didn't work out at that time, it motherfucking made sense for the type of character that he displayed for him to be the perfect match for her. That was before I understood the alpha, beta, sigma shit, right? He was a beta, big, huge guy, soft and fucking friendly, right? Turned into the alpha on her real quick. Now, unfortunately, they got married and had kids and fucking all this other shit. And, you know, I feel a little responsible for that because I kind of put that together. You know, I've put together a lot of fucking long-term relationships. Now, some of them have crumbled because, you know, misjudgment of character on my end. But so this is the thing, right? Well, that's the thing, Inda, is none of the men, whether alpha, beta, or sigma, want to leave your life. Okay? None of them want to leave your life. The alpha will run when he thinks that he doesn't have control anymore. He'll fucking skirt right off to the next one. Fuck that. I'm fucking done with this bitch. The beta will fucking cry about that shit the whole entire fucking time. Right? The sigma will be like, all right, let's find you somebody. You get what I'm saying? But they'll still, all three of them are still going to want to be in your life. Once you build a connection with somebody, that's permanent. That's why you can walk away from them, be gone for years with somebody that you never wanted to fucking see again. And there might be that little spark when you see them that makes you question whether you want to fuck with them or not. You can't break that bond. You understand? That's another reason why it's so crucial as to who you let link up with you, because the exchanging of your energies takes place every time that you go to bed, whether you're wrapped up or not. Because it's not just in the men of the sea. You right? You understand? It's not just in the men of the sea. It's also in the sweat. Right? There's an extremely large amount of consciousness that transfers in the men of the sea. But the majority of the transfer until that point is all done through the skin-to-skin contact, the linking of the hearts that changes the frequency, which alters the way that you think, which it's a very serious thing. This is why being with somebody for a long time that's not good for you can damage you irreparably. Or until you find somebody that balances out that frequency. But this is the thing, is once that damage is done, you then have to cleanse that yourself. I keep telling y'all, go ground yourself and go get your sun gazing. But nobody fucking takes it that serious. That's the only way to restructure your shit back to you. That's the only way that you can cleanse all of those. Everybody always talks about the carrying of these energies with their partners. You can restructure it, but you cannot get rid of it completely. But you can minimalize it back to as close to your shit as humanly possible by grounding yourself. You understand? These are things that people are missing. These are key factors that people miss. And they wonder why they can't seem to move past people and shit like that. Okay? It's because of the fact that, you're still carrying that. You get me? So this is the thing, right? Let's get back to the basics. Let me explain some things, because a lot of y'all be thinking men be trying to attack you and shit when, they're actually trying to build with you, right? Because you've been taught to look at a lot of things like it's an attack rather than a building tool or a part of the process or something like that. And so, I want to clarify those things. So, I guess at this point, we'll just, open up the thing to questions, right? Right? Well, if y'all got questions, any of the women in here, because if you've noticed, there aren't any men that have disagreed with anything that I've said since I've started speaking in this conversation, which means that all the men that are in here agree with me, which means that there's a general, how should I say this, chart to men. That's all right. I can read the chat. Okay. For all the men in here, watch here. Let me show you like this. All the men in here that agree with me, put a 1 in the chat. All the women, all the men that disagree with me in here, put a 2 in the chat. No problem, sis. Well, I'm not a personal consultant. I basically deal with the entirety of the country. You understand? How you get an alpha man back that ran away? Okay, my question for you is, why do you want an alpha man back that ran away? Why the fuck would you want an alpha man in the first place? You see the result of being with him. He ran away. Why would you want that inconsistency if you're trying to build something consistent? Like that's your cue and your sign that that's not what you're looking for. You get what I'm saying? All you're really doing is opening yourself up to get your boots knocked every once in a while and your pocket drained for being foolish enough to continue chasing after. I'm going to tell you right now. All that's going to do, chasing that man is only going to lead you into a position of you being where he unloads his load and gets his resources from until he finds what he's looking for. That's what you're saying that you're available for. Literally. That's literally what's going to happen to you. Hold on, I gotta turn my heat down. It's getting fucking hot. You know, hood shit. You gotta turn down the oven sometimes. Look, right? So, this is the thing. This is the thing, right? Is that y'all have been taught to look for the wrong things, while as men, we've been taught all of the things to look for to avoid the wrong things. So what you're dealing with is you've been given this mentality of it's me, it's my way, and fuck you, versus us that have been given the mentality of, okay, if it's me, my way, and fuck you, that means that she's selfish. There's no security there, because that's basically alpha female shit. Which means that you're just going to have a life of getting cheated on and getting fucking fucked around, because all you're going to attract is alpha males. Because the betas will be too insecure to fucking deal with you, even though they'll look at you and they'll see. This is where you get your simps from, okay? The betas are the simps, okay? Those are the ones that'll just sit there in the back corner fucking giving you everything that you want and never really ask anything of you, never have a line to draw or anything like that. You don't even have to be in a relationship. They'll just sit there and fucking feed you. That's simp shit, okay? That's beta shit. The alpha, on the other hand, you got to prove everything to. Right? It's a constant competition. I'm doing this. What are you doing? The sigma is, this is where my peace lies. If you can fall into the place of my peace, we can roll forward and build with that. But if we don't, I got to move forward. You get me? Oh, what's up, man? Appreciate that. Thank you, Element. So, this is the thing. Like, one, before you worry about getting in a relationship, get rid of your friend group. Why do you want to get rid of your friend group? Because your friend group will be the first thing to undo your relationship. Most of you have multiple fucking relationships, but you got that one friend that you can always go out and get drunk with after the fucking relationships are over and shit. They always want to kick it with you. They're always single themselves. They get into relationships and get out of relationships. That's because they've been competing with you the whole entire fucking time. Okay? Like, they've been competing with you the whole entire time. Everything's been a comparison. So, this is the thing. If you want to get into a relationship with a man, right? If you want to get into a relationship with a man, one, keep people around you that correct you. You can't even go to your parents. Okay? You can't go to your parents for shit, because your parents are going to coddle you, because no man is ever good enough for you and no woman's ever good enough for you. You can't go to them 90% of the time, unless you have parents that actually have the nuts to fucking argue with you and set you fucking straight. You don't go to your fucking parents, because they're going to bring their relationship ship into your shit as well. Okay? You have to keep it in-house. So if you feel it necessary, if you're one of the people that feels it necessary to have somebody to talk to or something like that, you don't go to a therapist, because a therapist is going to give you advice that's, one, going to tell you that since you came to relationship therapy, that's because your relationship's already over. We're just going to make it easier for you. So their entire job is to help you further fucking separate yourself. So that's not your answer. That's not your go-to. If you feel like you need somebody to talk to besides your fucking partner, bring somebody new into the fucking relationship. The reason behind this is because that new person that you bring into the relationship is going to see your side, and they're going to see your partner's side equally, because they'll be involved with it just as much as you are, which means that they're going to give you an honest answer. Why would they give you an honest answer? Because they're witnessing it, rather than hearing your side and then hearing their side later. They're a party. That's a party to it. Now, what is this? What does this create? This creates that female bond that you're always craving, because you are always craving bonding with other females. That's natural. That's natural. And it doesn't matter. You're either going to bring it into your house or you're going to go to somebody outside of your house. If you go to somebody outside of your house will fall apart. Literally, every single time. Every single time. You get me? It's not even it's not a debate type thing, because at some point, you know, you feel like your partner doesn't hear you, right? And when you feel like your partner doesn't hear you, you have a need to express that to somebody. That either turns into the work husband, right? That's where your work husband becomes a fucking problem. That's where your single girlfriend becomes a problem. That's where your single parent becomes a problem. That's where you understand that need to reach out, right, is a problem that men don't go through. We don't like to fucking bring our shit to the streets. That's a weakness. That's a vulnerability that's being exposed. You understand? And some of us have friends that we know would sleep with one of our other friends' exes. So we know that we can't, you can't express these things in the circle, because you know how to keep the friendships and maintain the friendships that you like, as men anyway. Okay? So the thing is that once you include other people into your shit, it's a wrap. From that point forward, it's a wrap, because one, you're always going to continue to go to that person that'll listen to you. Right? Look, any of your female friends that's tried to correct you on something, you're a fucking bitch, and you stop talking to them for like months and years, and then friend them again after the relationship's over. It's funny how you keep ending back with the same relationships after your relationships are over, but you don't see the pattern that's growing there. The chain of events that's being set in place by holding on to that and by doing that same activity. You get me? Look, not for nothing, but most of y'all can't have real girlfriends. 90% of the women that you call your friends are the exact type of women that I just explained. And that's an inherent nature. Why? Because as long as you're not part of the pack, you're competition. That's where that comes from. Everybody has a pack mentality, but trying to live in a monogamous setup when the pack mentality is naturally in your fucking genetic coding. You understand? And so anytime that this includes your own family. This includes your mother. This includes your cousins, your aunts, this includes them as well. You understand? You go and talk to one of your grandparents that's been in a relationship since they were fucking teenagers, that survived all the bullshit, and you tell them about your you won't even express to them the things that you do because you know that they're so wrong. That's the thing, is y'all, you see, you guys don't express the full extent of what's going on because you won't say the things where you fucked up at, right? First, it's, I felt like this, I felt like this, I felt like this, I felt like this, I felt like this. You build it all up so that it seems like he's the fucking problem right from the rip. And then and so I did this. And you're like, yeah, you should have fucking did that. Fuck him. And da-da-da-da. They fuel the end of your relationship instead of giving you advice and telling you to chill the fuck out. Why? Because one, they want to maintain their friendship and know that you can't fucking take any type of rejection. And so by correcting you, they know that would create a big ass fucking problem. You know how I know? My sister, right? My sister, motherfucking, she'll tell me all of the drama that her friends, like when I was staying around her and shit, she would tell me all the drama that her friends brought to her and how stupid they are for all the things that they were doing and shit. And I'd be like, did you tell them? Fuck no, it wouldn't be my friend no more. Okay, perfect. Y'all don't want to hear that you did something wrong 90% of the time. Why? Why is that? Because you've been trained that you're right about everything. No matter how wrong it is. You've been trained through simps, the betas, right? And you've been trained through the alphas. Why have you been trained through the... How do we know that the world's been trained through the alphas and the betas? Well, because you have a bunch of women that can't be corrected on anything. Why? Because the betas are in their inbox kissing their fucking feet. You have a bunch of women that dress extremely fucking provocatively. Why? Because the alphas are in their fucking inbox telling them how fine they look looking like that and shit. Why? Because the ones that are dolled up with a bunch of makeup that overexpose themselves, the alphas know that you're an easy, weak target. The sigmas solidify that because while you're doing all these things and fucking around with all these alphas, the sigmas in your fucking inbox fucking gassing you up and agreeing with your shit and fucking being a yes man. Hey, what up, Dominic? You understand? So we have a world right now in America anyway. It's only here in America that there's problems like this. But that's because of the indoctrination that's been taught. You get me? Now, the thing is that... Okay, so let me explain it to you like this. You say you've got thousands of unchecked messages. Okay, let me explain it to you like this. If you were unattainable and you were... How can I explain this? That's because of the fact that you're in that alpha beta thing. All right, sis. Okay? The reason that you have thousands of people in your inbox is because something about what you're doing makes it look like you're easy to approach. There's a shit ton of women that are on here that don't have no guys in their inbox because of the type of content that they post. Right? Because men avoid certain shit. So if you're one of the people that has a shit ton of people in your inbox, that's telling you that you need to represent yourself. That's telling you that even though that you think that you're presenting yourself a certain way, something about what you're doing is giving off the I need attention. That means that there's a weakness in you that's being zeroed in on by all the predators. Right? No guy tries to compete with a woman. See? All right, look, right? If you have a man that competes with you, you're dating a beta, you're dating an alpha. If you have a man that does nothing but submit to you, you're dating a beta. The question, right? The question is do you know the difference between competing with you versus having boundaries? Right? These two things get confused a lot, right? If you have a man that's in constant competition with you, what's that mean? He's competing with himself, which means that there's only a allotted time span before the next best thing comes along and you're irrelevant. Because he's trying to prove to himself that he needs something or that he has something. And that thing that he's trying to prove to himself is based on how the world views it, not him personally. That's that alpha shit. Okay? So, yeah, exactly. It should be a team. Right? But the thing is that, you know, people don't have that teamwork mentality. Everybody's stuck in this, it's about me shit. Oh, sorry. I know I'm a little heavy on the nicotine today, but it just goes so well with the coffee. And yes, it's the weekend. I like to have my coffees. So, well, no, Inda. The thing that'll get them out of your inbox is by making it private. Make it so that only friends can motherfucking talk to you. A lot of the reason that you're finding these type of people, it might simply be the content that you watch, right? Because it's the algorithms. Hey, what's up, Jazz? How do you attract a Sigma man? Fucking relax. Relax. Oh, I get it, Inda. I'm gonna have to see what it is that you create. I'll explain to you in depth after I go and look at your shit. Okay? I'll explain to you exactly how it is that you're presenting yourself if you want me to. If you're really curious about the subject, I can explain it down to a T. It's not even that difficult to see. No, I get that. But you also got to remember there's a lot of predators out there as well, you know? Like, don't present yourself as somebody that holds a lot. You understand? Explain things, but, like, you know, never reveal your full card. This is the best way that I can explain it to you, because there's a lot of alphas out there that'll try to go for you just for the fact that you have something, which means that they're really not after you in the first place. You get me? So look, right? A lot of you have your Sigma sitting around you already. The question is whether they'll still accept you or not, because they've been there the whole entire time. Why? Because a Sigma knows that you got to go through some shit, right? But you got to realize that they've been judging how you're fucking handling things the whole entire time, right? Look, this is the thing, right? Okay, so a couple things that you got to understand about men, because I've been hearing certain things pop up a lot with some of my single female friends and shit that have been dating and stuff like that, right? One of the things that I thought that we should discuss is, all right, so this is the thing. A lot of you fail a very serious test because you don't even realize the test. You've been taught to think that it was ignorance, or that you've been fucking getting played with or blown off or some shit like that, right? This is a major test that the majority of women fail. I'm going to teach it to you right now, right? Even though there's only us in here, right? I want you to think about this for a minute, right? Now, put a 1 in the chat if you liked a guy, right? And as soon as you guys started dating and shit, everything went cool, and then y'all had that little conversation where, you know, you guys decided that you really liked each other and wanted to make something out of it, and then he just ghosted you. Put a 1 in the chat if you've experienced that. Not only am I going to explain to you why that happens so that you understand it, but I'm also going to show you something that you don't even realize. And when I say ghosted you, I don't mean necessarily that they completely disappeared in the relationship or something like that. Is that, you know, he fell back. We'll not even say ghosted you completely, just somebody that fell back. Right? That seemed like once you guys established that it was legit, that he seemed to have fell back or stopped doing what he was doing, and he wasn't chasing me as much, and da 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 da. Have any of you experienced that? dude, with as many women as I've fucking heard this from, I see that a lot of y'all think that, like, you know, a lot don't want to be honest about this subject. Let me explain something to you, because if you haven't experienced that, that's a clear sign that you've only dealt with alphas and betas in the first place. The reason I say this is because that's a Sigma trait. Why is that a Sigma trait? The reason is that it's not that men are playing games with you, right? You've been taught to think that everything that the Sigma does is a fucked up game, right? Let me explain something to you. That's a Sigma trait. The reason that this happens, right, is because immediately upon deciding that you're going to be the person for them, right, they show you their card, right, which is what makes you like them so much in the first place. Is they show you everything that they are. They just lay it on the table. They start doing stuff for you. You know, they'll take you out and stuff. They'll, you know, buy you fucking chocolate and shit, pop up with things that you like and all that type of shit. They'll do everything fucking perfectly, right, and then they'll fall back. The reason that they fall back is because once they check with you to verify that this is what you want, right, they're going to fall back. The reason behind this is because we're taught to check. We're taught to check how we are valued to you. So if you haven't experienced it, it's because of the fact that you're not going around men that are actually operating as men that are comfortable and that actually live in their masculinity. Because these are checks that are necessary to guarantee a long-term relationship. You see, the man has to fall back. The reason that he has to fall back is because he needs to know that if he's not calling you, that he's still on your mind. Which means that he's alleviating himself from the situation and putting a pause on it to make sure that you're really as serious about it as he is. So when he steps back, if you guys go from talking every day on the phone or something like that, hanging out every day on something like that, and he steps back, it's to see how you're going, if you're going to pick up the same energy that was already there. So he'll naturally step back for verification of a certain things. One, he'll make sure that by him stepping back, if you automatically think that, oh, he's cheating and you ghost him, well, guess what? You just fucked yourself out of a Sigma male, because you automatically assumed something bad, which means that you're living in a fucking negativity that he's not going to want to be part of. Next, on top of that, right? Because of the fact that you don't call him might lead to a problem, right? He might just fall back all the way because of the fact that you didn't call him. It was only him that was in pursuit of you, which is a clear sign that you don't value him the same way that he values you. Which means that is showing that there's no consistency on your end, which means that there wouldn't be a consistency in the relationship either. Because if he falls a little bit, you're not going to be willing to pick up the slack. You see, these are all actual tests that 90% of women fail at. Because the majority of you think, oh, he just cut off his contact with me. He's talking to another girl. He cut off his contact with me because he was just playing with me to get to me. He cut off his contact with me. No, these are tests that we produce in order to verify your position. But you've been full of betas that will continually call you every single fucking day, blow your inbox up every single day, and you'll compare that to the Sigma that just fell back, right? And you'll be like, oh, well, he must not care because, look, they're still blowing me up. And then you'll compare that to the alphas. The alphas are fucking, oh, and you'll be stuck in that alpha beta category due to the fact that your conduct that's being encouraged by the alpha and the beta steer away the Sigma, because the actions that you're taking are based off of those things. They're alpha and beta positions. You're alpha minded when you're thinking, oh, fuck him, he must be cheating, I'm gonna go and fucking do it, I'll go find somebody else. That's a competitive masculine alpha trait. So all y'all that are claiming that you're in your masculine energy and shit like that, the moment that you say that type of shit, the beta's like, okay, I'll let you go have that. It's just gonna happen. No, because they're not gonna want to deal with that shit because we know what comes with it. You understand? It's guaranteed to happen. It's guaranteed that he's gonna disappear. He'll still be your friend though. Yeah, that's it. Divine balance is it's logic and constructive reasoning, right? That's literally what it is. See, what y'all don't understand, right, is that upon men meeting you and thinking that he wants to be in a relationship with you, he automatically starts making alterations to his conduct based on the type of character that you present. The reason that alteration takes place is because they want to find out if they can match up to it and make that something productive in the way that they're conducting their own businesses as well. Right. And so there becomes a line that gets drawn of, okay, I'll switch up and I don't mind switching up for you because you're worth it to me. So I'll do X, Y, and Z and A and B. But if you can't give me A, B, and C in response, I can't fuck with you. Because the alterations have been made before you actually really got serious. See, that's what most women don't understand, is that we inherently adapt to the woman that we want in our life. The thing is there's limitations to how far that will go, depending on who you are. Right? There's boundaries that will be set on every level. And so when we bound ourselves to the idea, that becomes a permanent idea for us immediately. Which means that from the moment that we've decided that we wanted to engage with you, every action that we take has you sitting in the background of it. Men cannot help this. Why? Because we are naturally subservient to our partner. That's nature. Protecting your partner is being in service to your partner. You understand? What's the very first thing that you expect a man to do that you're in a relationship with? It doesn't matter if you're on your first date or not. You expect service of him. If you went out on your first date and somebody tried to approach you while you were with the man on your first date and he did not fucking handle that situation, you would not date that man again because you would not feel secure. And that would be a blatant show of him not being the leader that you are looking for. Because yes, you could handle it yourself, but you shouldn't have to in his presence. You understand? So realize that from the very moment that a man decides that he wants to be with you, from that point forward, it's already ingrained in him immediately an entire lifetime. Now, how you present yourself determines that role that it's going to be in that lifetime. It can very easily move from being in a relationship to a friendship. It can very easily move from being in a relationship to nothing. It can very easily move to, oh, you want to be the side chick? All right, you're the side chick forever. There is no swapping of roles. Once that role has been determined before he pursued you in the first place. Which is why how you present yourself is so crucial. You understand? Because what you're presenting is an advertisement of what you're available for. If you present yourself in an overly fucking, if you're somebody that doesn't feel comfortable without makeup, you're going to get a whole bunch of alphas. If you're somebody that is always, you know, every photo's got your ass or your tits in it, you're always going to draw on the alphas. Which means that you're always going to be drawing in drama and bullshit for yourself, because the alpha is in constant competition with himself and with the world. Right? See, the alpha mentality is, it's me versus the world, and you're there with me, but it's also me versus you. The sigma is, it's me and you versus the world, and the beta is, it's your world. Okay? These are the different demographics of man that are available to you, and how you present yourself will draw in those type of people. These are facts of life. It's unavoidable. You get me? So, yeah, exactly, Bay. That's exactly. People don't understand. Look, let me explain something to you, because I know where all this fucked up fucking thought process comes from. It's this king and queen shit. Most of y'all don't even understand what the king and the queen are. You see, the king isn't just the guy that's at the top, that's at the lead. That's not king mentality. That's alpha shit. The king is sigma. Why is the king sigma? The king is sigma because the king's role is a required role of service. That is a role of service to the nation, which means that the king's actions are felt throughout the whole entire thing. So these are very responsible and very delegated decisions that have to be made with serious analytics and logistics, which you find in the sigma. Why? Because the sigma is not in competition. The sigma is working on fixing everything for everyone. Where it's not look at me, it's look at you. You understand? So there's this misconception of what a king is, right? Because of all the things that you see on TV. This is why they destroy the idea of the king, right? Because everything that you see on TV, everything that you've grown up with in movies, you've never seen a just king. You've only seen examples of tyrants. You've only seen examples of alphas being in the king position. But if you notice, the alpha isn't the king position in the jungle. The lion king is not, think about it for a minute. The king of the pride is the one that does everything for everybody and makes everything work correctly for everybody. Who was the alpha in the movie? Scar. Actually, Scar, well, from his story, he went from the beta to the alpha. Okay, he was the beta alpha position. The sigma was Simba's dad. Okay? Simba's father was the sigma. He was the just king that was doing everything for everybody and was making everything work coherently. That's the sigma role. If you notice, everybody willingly followed them. Scar, the alpha that came from the beta, how did he get people to follow him? Through beating and attacking and eating the hyenas, right? He had to do everything by force. He had to do everything by force because nobody was willing to follow him because of the fact of how he conducted and displayed himself. That's your alpha. People don't follow the alphas. The alphas get to the top by what? Lying, cheating, stealing. You get me? They don't get there by being positive role models. That's why they say for you to get rich, you have to be a piece of shit. Because you have to throw out all of your morals for money, which means that you're stuck in what? You're a fucking alpha. You're a beta to the money, but you're an alpha in your life. You get me? So, yeah. Power is power, which is force, right? If it has to be forced, is it good? No. You see all these men that are super successful. Hey, look, hey, proof of it, right? A lot of the alphas made a lot of their money very young, right? A lot of the alphas make a shit ton of money very young, just like the betas do, okay? The thing about that is most of you married that alpha. Most of you went for the jock. Most of you went for the bad boy. Most of y'all got married to that guy. Did all that money matter to you in the end? Did all that success that he was having matter to you in the end? Or did you learn that there's a lot of fucking shitty practices that he's doing that redisplayed themselves in your relationship to a point where you're like, this is not what I fucking signed up for? Do I have a checklist? Not really. I don't. Look, the reason I'm explaining these things is because there's a lot of misunderstanding of men's conduct, which is making it so that you're basically avoiding what you're looking for at all costs, and you don't even realize it because you've been taught to fucking look for the wrong shit. So I'm explaining to you all the behaviors of the shit that you're trying to get away from so that you can maybe reflect that on how you conduct yourself to get to the point to where you're actually looking for. I get these questions about things from people of all different types from around the world and shit, right? So I figure I'll just answer it for everybody as best as I can. Now, thing is I want people to be happy anyway. So, and the reason that there's so many alpha and betas out here is because y'all made them popular. That's what you don't realize, is that and y'all made them popular because you weren't trained to train them. Remember what I told you, every man conforms to the woman that he goes to. Just like, all right, perfect example. Charleston White used it. It was Charleston White that said this. He was like, look, when a certain type of woman walks into the room, every man knows exactly what her character is when she walks into the room. Right? If you'll notice, you can see who you are by who is attracted to you when you walk into the room. Do all the people with all the flashy shit notice you first? Is it the quiet person that notices you first? Or is it like, does nobody notice you? Right? These are things that you got to fucking pay attention to. Right? If all the flashy people notice you first, that's because you're dressing flashy, which means that you're attracting the type of attention that you're not after. Because you don't want those flashy fucking beta alphas, because they're only doing that because of the competition that they're in with themselves. So that's not what you're looking for, right? If you're walking into a room and you're presenting yourself in a way that isn't flashy, you'll notice that certain men won't fucking approach you. There's a difference between putting yourself together and then putting yourself together for attention, right? If everything that you have is form-fitting and tight, well, then you're basically somebody that's stuck in sexuality, because you wouldn't be worried about people seeing your fucking figure if you were confident in yourself. That's a clear sign of insecurity. I don't want to hear, I did it for myself. No, you did it for yourself based off of how everybody else views things. That's alpha shit. These are the facts. Okay. And because of you presenting yourself in a curvy manner out in public, one, you're turning, the Sigma will look at you, but he'll just look and enjoy it for a moment and then keep on rolling because he already knows where your mentality lies. These are telltale signs. This is why certain men will always approach you and certain men won't. Is because simply by the way that you dress shows more than what you want to accept. If you are always wearing tight ass shit, always fucking dolled up, always fucking, your hair's got to be done all the time, your face, like, there's a difference between making yourself presentable and making yourself approachable. When you're wearing all fucking tight stuff that makes it so that your boobs look great, your ass looks great, and your hair's done up and your fucking nails are done up, you're a target for every alpha that's out there. Literally. And y'all don't want to hear that shit. Oh no, I do it for myself. No, the fuck you don't. Because I know women that are confident in themselves. They don't dress like that. They don't. You know why they don't? Because they're confident enough in themselves that they don't want the fucking attention in the first place. They're appalled by that type of attention. So if you find yourself to be the type of woman that walks into a room and a whole bunch of women throw you dirty looks and shit, that's because of that. It's not because they're jealous of you. It's because of the fact that they're disgusted by your conduct because they know the type of, because they're more worried about people thinking about their mental than they are about their physical. And so by you presenting yourself in a way that draws everybody's attention to you physically, it's a disgusting act to them because they would never. You understand? And men know the difference. If you notice, there's women that go into the same jobs that you go into that don't dress certain ways, and they don't have everybody in the office after them. They don't have all the single fucking people coming to try to talk to them. They don't have none of that shit going on. Everybody just kind of stays the fuck away from them and just lets them at their peace so that they can do what they have to do. Right? Then there's the women that come in and everybody swarms to them, flocks with them, flirts with them, smiles at them, fucking da-da-da-da. Why? Because you've presented yourself as something available. And so that radar goes off and they're like, okay, I can definitely do something. And then they'll want to know about your relationship. And then they'll become that fucking, that ear, that sympathetic ear. And then all of a sudden you cheat. Or your relationship goes to shit because of the fact that there's this other dude that's sitting there pandering to it because they're trying to get to you because you made yourself look available. And so they're going to gaslight you and fill your head with, oh, I would never do that. You should leave him. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Here. You understand? Men are not complicated creatures at all on any level. We're very, 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 very simple. Why are we simple? Because everything's analytical, which means that we all follow the same fucking rules and ideas. That's why you don't see any men in this live for the last 2 hours that has said I've been wrong about anything. There's nothing that's came out of my mouth that a single man in this chat has disagreed with in 2 hours. That's because we all operate the same. So what does that tell you? The reason that there's so many alphas and so many betas running around right now is because that's what you guys were attracted to. There wouldn't be them. But the problem is that y'all got to teach that shit to your daughters to end it. Because it's too late for your generation. It's too late for their generation. But you can teach her so that her generation starts to shift how the men conduct themselves in the next generation. That's your best bet. But the problem is most of y'all carry so much resentment that you can't say, this is where I fucked up at. Anytime that, look, don't take this the wrong way. I know, like, what I'm about to say, most of you did it. You've done it in my fucking chat. during these conversations. Not a single one of you has taken any accountability for the actions that you took in the relationship that might have sent it towards the direction that you didn't want it. Every single last one of you, it's been his fault. Or I shouldn't have trusted him this, and I shouldn't have, and my mistake was trusting him to do this. No, that wasn't your mistake. Your mistake came before that action. Because the thing is men are very meticulous creatures. All of us are all very meticulous. There is nobody outside of this. So that means that you signed up for it. What that also means is that you chose it and then decided not to choose it later. But all the signs were always there. You just ignored them for however long it took you to fucking ignore them until certain shit just started building up until you just got sick of it or something. But the thing is that we all do things in relationships that we know are wrong, but you guys don't have anybody to tell you that you're wrong in the first place. Why? Because you've got this whole world full of beta males that'll tell you that you're right about everything, because they secretly want you to fucking be with them. Then you've got a whole world full of alpha males that'll gas your fucking head up and tell you that you're fucking right the whole entire time just so that they can get to you because they're in competition. Then you've got all of the females that you talk to that have been in relationships that'll also fucking not correct you because of the fact that they don't want to lose your friendship. So it's very difficult. I took one of my friends to the mall when I was young, and I was working at a kiosk. I was selling cell phones and shit, and of course, I was a monster at it. But she came there and she quit after like 2 days because she ended up breaking down crying because she couldn't accept people not coming to her when she summoned them. She couldn't take the rejection of them not coming to talk to her to come buy the stuff. That's how much y'all can't take rejection. It's an automatic attack or something, no matter where it comes from. That's why your girlfriends don't correct you on shit. That's why they don't tell you, right? They don't tell you where you fuck up at. You know why they can't tell you where you fuck up at? Because one, as soon as she says that to you, you've got this whole ammo of all these fucked up things that you've been supporting her through that she doesn't want to hear about. Right? Think about that for a minute. The first reason that your girlfriend never corrects you is because you know all of her dirt and all of her fucked up shit that you supported her through. Oh, I didn't feel like the connection was there, so I cheated, and like I was cheating with this guy, cheating with that guy, and da-da-da. Yeah, girl, fuck him. Do what you want. You gotta do what you gotta do, and da-da-da. That's why they don't correct you. Is because in order to correct you, they also have to take accountability. So they can't do that because then they would have to accept the things that they did wrong is wrong. See, so y'all are in this endless loop of no accountability, do fucked up shit, get encouraged to do fucked up shit, and that's a hard road to get around. Okay? You got to think about these things. Like you really got to look at the circle of people that you keep around you. Now, outside of that, you've got what? All of your romantic movies, all of your romantic fantasies have always been about cheating. So you've had cheating fucking bored into your answer as a result. And because of it being your romantic fantasies, that is the thing that's encouraged by your friends. Why? Because they get to watch you live out a romantic fantasy. It's just like being in a movie. So they're always going to encourage you to cheat because according to romance, that's what real romance is that forbidden fruit that you have to have. Think about that. Even the scary sci-fi or criminal shit still has the same elements. You watch scary sci-fi and criminal shit. So what's that mean? That means that one, you're watching nothing but men abuse and be abused, right? Very rarely is the serial killer a female. Why? Because if they put the serial killer as the female, that would make it so that what do you call it? That would give women the fucking feeling of power over those type of situations, right? Which would be very, what do they call it? Hey, look, have you ever noticed how anytime that a woman goes to jail for something as far as violence, it's usually a thing of passion? Dude, if you're watching serial killer stuff, it's almost never women. Very rarely is it women. Why? Because they want you to see men as things that are going to attack you randomly. They're building fear in you. If you're watching criminal stuff, majority of the stuff that's criminal dealing with women only deals with their children. Them defending the one that's going into jail or something like that, and like something along those lines. It's always there in defense of their children or something like that. Any of the criminal shit that you see with men is violence, riches that were got by deceit, fucking really fucked up shit. This is building up. What you're actually doing is having a negative image of all men built up around you. By watching all the serial killer shit, you're now walking down the street with your fucking jacket a little bit closer, with your eyes a little bit more aware, and your eyes, like, you get what I'm saying? These are fear tactics. This is what television programming is programming. People don't understand what television programming programs. No matter which one of these things that you're watching, right? Let me explain to you, like, okay, sci-fi shit right now, right? How is that being manipulated? If you look at any of the sci-fi shit, any man that's in a leadership position looks like a batshit lunatic. Either that, or he got there in that position by doing some really fucked up shit. Either that, or he's just a piece of shit in general, right? If he's smart, he's an idiot. And the woman has to be in control. If that's typically found in the father figure or the group leader role. Why? Because they don't want you to have a man leading you, because that would be natural, right? And so everybody that's in a leadership position is a fucking horrible creature in every single one of these scenarios. It's always a man in the leadership position 99% of the time. Because if they showed a woman being an unjust leader, motherfucking, that wouldn't be conductive to them trying to get you to be as separated from men as possible, right? So the thing is that it doesn't matter what you're watching on TV. All of the things still play into these narratives. It doesn't matter if it's TV. Doesn't matter if it's movies. Doesn't matter if you go to school. All of these things are being taught. And by long-term exposure to it, that has become your reality. And so now you're scared of... Hey, look. When I grew up, you were supposed to get girls flowers, jewelry, fucking write them poetry, and all kinds of shit. And rule of thumb is that she's going to act crazy at some point and break up with you, and that's a test for you to make sure that you're going to continue to stick around even when she goes crazy, because women pretty much go crazy every month. Now, the thing is that, so what did you see in the movies back in those days? You would see the boy outside the window holding the radio, standing in the rain, trying to win his girl back. You would see him getting beat up by people that were fucking bothering her, even though she didn't want to be with him. He would go through all this public humiliation, and then she'd be like, okay, I love you too. These were tests of character. To make sure, right? Why were these things necessary? One, because you don't want the man that's just going to up and leave you because you're going to say some wild shit. There's a strong chance that you're going to say some wild shit every month. Why? Because there's a point in the month when your emotions go fucking haywire. So you wouldn't want somebody that's going to just dip off at the first sign of a struggle, right? Or give up on you, because how's that going to work for longevity? right? And so you also want the man that's going to prove that he's willing to humiliate himself in front of anybody for you. Why? Because that proves to you that he's not a fucking alpha. Because he's more worried about you than he's worried about his image. That's somebody that's going to care for you. Right? These are very specific characteristic traits of Sigma males. You tell a woman, you show up, you start talking to a girl every day, and she's going to feel smothered because she's going to say that you're too needy. You get into an argument with her and she breaks up with you, and you pop up at her house with flowers and go there to, show public displays and apologize and shit, and you're now a stalker. Everything that would prove to you the foundation of what you would need for a healthy relationship is now deemed as psychotic, stalkerish, and pathetic. Yes, the Sigma does do those kind of things because the Sigma understands what these tests are that the women are doing in the first place if they were taught to do these type of tests. The Sigma will do this in the beginning, but will not continue and consist with this. A beta will continue to do that forever. You understand? The beta will do the public humiliation and all that other shit, but they're going to do that forever no matter what the outcome is. The Sigma knows to expect these type of things and will allow that to happen and expect a certain result at the end of it. Does she receive it? Does she understand it? Does she know why I did it? And are we going to move forward? Because any Sigma female is taught to put their man through the ringer to test for the same things that the Sigma male is testing for in the female. Period. There is no other thing around that. You don't understand. See, that's incorrect. That's incorrect thinking that the Sigma doesn't have to prove himself to his partner. That's all the things that he was doing in the beginning of the fucking relationship, was displaying it, which is why she continued to want to be with him in the first place. You see, there's always a mating dance. The thing is whether you understand the mating dance, whether you understand the results of that mating dance, and whether you know how to perform it yourself. You get me? These are the things that you need to test for if you're going to want to find something to stand the test of time. See, the main thing that women don't do these days is make men wait. Right? Why don't they make men wait? Because they know that the man that they're talking to won't stay if he has to wait. So what's that tell you from the rip? That's a fucking alpha. That's somebody that's ruled by their desires rather than sound logic. Okay? So, you've been taught to aim yourself. Oh, this is the Book of Johnson, man. Hey, what's up, Kurt? No, the Sigma's not anything like the Alpha. The reason the Sigma's not like the Alpha is because the Sigma's already comfortable in everything that he does, and so he doesn't do the same tests. The Alpha doesn't test. The Alpha doesn't give a fuck about the tests. The Alpha gives a fuck about control, and the Alpha gives a fuck about nothing really, because the Alpha is too busy worried about himself. You see, this is the thing, right? Is the Sigma is the one that's going to go and get flowers and shit. Why? Because he's secure and he knows that he wants the type of person that likes romantic things. So he would go and get to see how she reacts to it, especially nowadays. Nowadays, it's a necessary thing. Is she happy about it, or does she look at you weird for it? Next, the Sigma is also going to be the one that falls back, right? He's going to fall back a little bit just to see whether she's going to remain the contact and whether she's going to be consistent when he stops being consistent. That's proof that if he loses at his job or something like that, that she would still hold shit down. Okay. There's tests on every level for everything that tell you everything that you need to know. Right. But if you don't understand that, then you're going to fall into these alpha beta categories, right? The alpha will never be the one to stand outside the window in the rain with the radio. The alpha will never be the one to embarrass himself publicly to get you back. Why? Because he's worried about his image in the first fucking place. And the only reason that he picked you was because you look good for his image. It didn't have to do with who you were as a person. It had to do with how you looked in the public and how that would make his status appear. That's alpha shit. So the alpha would never test the waters because that has nothing to do with why he's with you in the first place. You won't get any of the tests, but you will be told what to do. Okay? Now, the Sigma knows that a sound woman is going to test for certain things at some point. He knows that there is going to have to be a test of public humiliation because a sound woman is going to want to know that her value is more valuable than the image that he's created. You understand? That's going to be a test for somebody that's looking for longevity that actually knows how to get to longevity. This is why so many people don't have longevity now, is because of these tests that everybody fucking doesn't do anymore. Right? So, no, my friend, that's not Sigma mentality, my friend. A Sigma does everything necessary to establish whether things would be able to move forward in a peaceful manner or not, which means that it is a requirement to test bounds. You have to, because if you don't test bounds, you never know who it is that you're getting in a relationship with. Which means that you're guaranteeing that you're not guaranteeing peace in your fucking future. That's not Sigma activity. That's alpha activity. Alpha activity is I don't give a fuck what she does. I'm da-da-da. I'm this and I'm this and da-da-da. That's alpha shit. That's not Sigma shit. You understand? Alpha mentality, I don't need a woman. I got it, I do it. That's alpha shit. Sigma shit is I got it and I do it because I know that I need a woman. But I also need a woman of a certain caliber in order to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish in the way that I want to accomplish it. So it's a requirement to test. If you don't test, then you don't know what you're doing. And you're not going to get into anything healthy. You understand? Beta shit is she can do whatever the fuck she wants. I don't give a fuck. Okay? Sigma shit, testing is necessary. The reason that testing is necessary is because the Sigma, before the relationship, is worried about the future. The relationship is a bonus to the future, not a requirement of the future, which means that everybody's not going to pass the test. A lot of people are going to fail at the test. The Sigma will be single for years, months. The Alpha will be immediately in something next. The Beta just never really gets into relationships. They just sit around simping all day. Well, okay, but this is the difference. The Alpha needing a woman is needing a woman for social status. It's not for anything beyond that. That's the kings that you see in the movies. And if you notice, the woman that they have as their queen, that's just that's just where he dumps his fucking load to make a baby. That's her only purpose there. He doesn't go to her for advice and shit like that because he's got that alpha mindset. You understand? And so what happens is everybody's got this idea that that's the king dome. That's the king mind. No, that's not. That's a fucking terrorist. You get me? That's a terrorist. Talk about males choosing older women. Same reason that younger women choose older men. It makes sense because there's no stability in younger generations at all whatsoever. The problem is that usually doesn't work out due to the fact that y'all come to older men with that younger mentality and don't want to fucking change it, even no matter what's done for you. You understand? Now boys go after older women because that's, the experience is attractive to them, but usually that only happens when they got mommy issues. They're looking for somebody that's established, that's already got everything going, that they don't have to do too much except for exist to fucking, that's mommy shit. You understand? Now, women, however, choosing older men, that's not daddy issues. That's the fucking problem because of how many generations of alpha and betas have been fucking created in the last 20 to 30 years. The entire country is full of alpha betas that are completely out of fucking control, that the parents have no control over, that just do fuck shit. So there's no attraction there except for to smash and dash. So if they want something real, they're not going to want that from a fucking simp. Yeah, exactly, Frisbee. You feel me? So their only chance of having a real solid fucking relationship is withered down to maybe 1% of the people in their own generation, which is very hard to find, versus a plethora of established men that they know that they can have that type of life with. Different types of attraction there. One is attracted to it for the purpose of having a mom. The other is attracted to it for the purpose of having a family. But the thing is that it's a very hard road to cross unless she is willing to fully submit. The reason behind that is because that older man is not going to deal with a bunch of bullshit. At all. Because, once again, peace is the goal. And most of the single men that are older are single because of the fact that they were Sigmas. And the very qualities that aren't acknowledged in the generation that we came from and that we've been surviving through are the very ones that the ones in the new generation are noticing that are missing, that they're looking for. Which is why they're looking for older men in the first place. Right. So it's, that's the problem, and why those relationships are so fucking difficult is because in order for her to be successful in that relationship, she has to let go of all the shit that she's been taught. But they don't know how to do that to fall into the role of the position that they're trying to sign up for. Instead, it's, independence, bad bitch, do what I want, fuck you. Okay, well, you can't have what you want. Because what you want doesn't go for the shit that you're trying to avoid yourself by going for the older person in the first place. All the shit that the younger women try to avoid by going to the older men is the same exact shit that they do when they get with the older man, which is why most of those relationships go out the window. Because they haven't been taught. Because of what? Because of the main thing. What's the main word that all women get sensitive about? It used to be moist. It used to be moist. That used to be the word that fucking women hated. You know what the word is that women hate the most these days? Submission. Hey, what up, yes? What's good, brother? Okay? That's the thing, is that women, their fucking trigger word is submission. The funny thing is this was all taught in a very destructive way and with a whole bunch of lies behind it. Do you know how all this shit stemmed? You had the Women's Act thing where, well, fucking back in the day and shit, they were lying to everybody saying that women couldn't have bank accounts and shit like that. It's a bold-faced fucking lie. They were saying that women didn't have respect in this country. It's a bold-faced fucking lie. You know how I know it's a lie? Because I can show you a picture from the fucking 1700s where we had women in Congress. So you mean to tell me that they would let them sit in the executive branch of government, the highest branch of government that there is? They could sit in the executive branch of government, but you mean to tell me that they didn't have bank accounts and that they didn't have rights and that they weren't taken care of and they weren't... Hey, what up, Kurt? That's fucking right. Okay. Yeah, reviving that kingdom, right? So look, right? So they lied to all the women and got them duped into this shit. Had them thinking that things were so fucking horrible for them. And I'm not gonna lie, there were horrible things that were happening to the European women that were coming over here because they were coming over here as indentured servants, and a lot of them were forced into, you know, those little trafficking things, right? Being sold off at auctions and shit like that. And the reason I say that it's European women is because it is. That's why they have so much attraction to the black men in the country, because the black men were given their story. And so they see that as a protection from that same fucking fate that they actually have in their genetic coding from 2 to 3 generations ago that they don't even know exists. That's why they had the whole victim mentality built into them right now, is because of the fact that a lot of them were in fact victims. Yeah, there were some volunteers. There definitely were some volunteers. But the majority of it was indentured servants that were forced over here by like Britain and Spain and fucking all these different groups. So this is the thing. Well, you see, that's another problem there, Inda. That's another thing, right? Okay, so this is the other counteractive thing that gets y'all put in shit relationships, is the fact that your submission is weighed on how he conducts himself. But the thing is that when he conducts himself from the very beginning, he's already submitting to you from the very beginning, displaying to you all the things that he is willing and capable and wanting to do for you. And the very fact that you're not also submitting to him automatically in the same way is the very thing that drives them away in the first place. Because majority of women these days have the mentality of, oh, he's got to earn me acting like a wife. Well, if my actions are displaying to you that I would be a good husband, and you're not showing me how you would be a good wife, why would I consider you being a wife in the future? You get me? The thing is that there shouldn't be a reserve on how you conduct yourself with somebody. No, I get that, but that's the thing, Inda, is that anybody can get you as a person with time. But while they're getting you as a person, you should be displaying the full-on things that you're doing, right? Like, all right. No, I don't want to use this example. Let's use a different example. Okay, right. So one of my past relationships, right? All of my past relationships, really. Okay, so let's talk about, all right, so I was dating this one chick out in fucking New Jersey, like 3-4 years back or some shit like that, right? And I had my own place. In a different state, she had her own place in New Jersey. When I went down to her place in New Jersey, upon me entering the building, after hearing about all the things that all these fucking, because like all these construction workers were trying to get with her so she could never get her house fixed, because as soon as she would fucking shoot them down and didn't want to play with them, they would just abandon her fucking projects and just steal her money and all kinds of stupid shit, right? Now, me being who I am, I get there as a man and I look around the house and I'm noticing all the things that are fucked up. I literally went through her entire house, fixed all the door frames because they were all done incorrectly, built her an entire walk-in closet when the shelves that they put up collapsed under the weight of her stuff, leveled out her fence, right? Because the way that they put in the fence was uneven. So I went around the yard and leveled out the fence. I leveled out the yard so that she would be able to put up the swimming pool that she wanted. I fucking made sure that all the fucking structure was taken care of. I fixed the air conditioning problem. I was doing all the things that she would want in a husband, right? It's not whether you do that shit or not. That's where your fucking problem is at right there is, oh, I could do all that stuff. Who gives a fuck what you could do? The fact is that somebody was trying to alleviate the burden off of you in the motions that they were taking. These are things that you would want in a husband. Not only was I doing that, but I was also cooking for her. I was also fucking watching the kids whenever they fucking, when she was running late from work and shit like that, I would fucking make sure that the kids were good and shit. You get me? Like, I did everything that a husband was supposed to be doing, right? Meanwhile, right? Instead of appreciating all of that shit and understanding the position that I was trying to display, she was holding back on things that she would do in a fucking, she didn't, how can I explain this? There was never a moment where she was out and thought, oh, he might like this and brought it home for me. There was never a moment where, something that I was doing, she tried to provide something or involve herself with or anything like that. She was like, you understand? All of the shit that was wife-like duties none of them were being displayed, right? Now, come to find out that the reason behind that was because that she was waiting for this dude to get out of jail or whatever, or some shit like that, right? It ended up being like some crazy fuck shit, right? But this is the thing, like this goes and like, so her reserve on that was due to the fact that she was really waiting on somebody to get out. You get me? So that makes sense. It makes sense why she conducted herself the way that she did. You get me? Now, there was no signs of this during the time that I was with her, but that ended up being the case. I figured that out after the fact. But, so I guess maybe that wasn't the best example for this. Let's see. Okay, right. One of my exes, I used to cook for all the time, breakfast, lunch, dinner. I don't give a fuck. I like cooking. That's how I like, let me re-explain that. I like cooking for the person that I care for. Let me explain it to you like that. When it comes to myself, I'll sit around. If I'm all by myself, I'll literally be sitting around doing nothing but eating fruit. No need for dishes, no need for nothing. But as soon as I get around somebody that I give a fuck about, the first thing that I start doing is cooking for them. Right? Now, this is something that I would always continue to do throughout the relationship because that's one of the things that I enjoy doing for my partner. Outside of that, there's I'll go and get things, like just off the mention of it. If I have the ability to get it, I'll go and get it just because, hey, look, I think about you outside of the time that I'm away from you, right? And, also there's the aspect of, like, I don't give a fuck. I'll walk around the neighborhood that has nice flowers in it and go fucking pick people's flowers and shit and bring them to my chick if I really fucking feel like it. Right? If I see something worth grabbing and I think that she'll enjoy it, I'll go and get it, right? So this is my basic character in every relationship. Right? Not only that, but I like to fix everything. I like building things, and I don't really give a fuck about doing it for myself because I'm content where I'm at. Once again, Sigma shit. Okay? I'm content. I don't need things to be fucking happy. I don't need things to be at peace. I could sit in a fucking cardboard box on the side of the fucking road and be perfectly content with my life. You can ask my friend Sissy that comes back in here whenever she comes back in here. She's known me 20 something plus years. She'll tell you that I've been homeless several times and I was the happiest fucking person that she knew. Why? Because I've never gave a fuck about opinions of what the fuck I do. Now, this is the thing, right? So for that same person that I was cooking for and all this other shit, I was like, okay, so, you know, in the beginning, she started doing wife-like stuff. Like she wasn't accustomed to doing all the cooking and all that type of stuff, but she started trying to, since she wasn't accustomed to cooking, she was good with doing the dishes. That's teamwork. Since, you know, not for nothing, but there was never a moment when she came home for something for me, right? That was a red flag to me, right? Because every time I leave, no matter where I'm at, I always think of, okay, like I told you, when a man takes on a woman in a position, she's in the back fucking thought of everything that he fucking does. And that means everything that he does is, I wonder if this would fucking fuck that up, right? So, right, she stopped cleaning, stopped fucking doing everything, literally just stopped everything, and then basically left everything on my shoulders to take care of everything out of nowhere, right? There was no wifely fucking displays in that shit whatsoever. So guess what? That relationship came to an end. You get me? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, her thing is if I put a ring on it, she would do it. Right? Her thing was, if you put a ring on it, I'll do it. Why would I trust that your behavior would change just because I bought you a different object? If your behavior is already displaying that you don't have the type of conduct to work in a team environment in the first place. You get me? These are things that people seem to fucking miss out on, right? People don't seem to understand. People don't seem to comprehend. It's very, very simple things, right? But the majority of the mentality is being taught right now is, don't do it unless he fucking puts a ring on it. That's that monster Beyonce bullshit. If you like it, they really put a ring on it. The programming's been going strong. You get me? The programming goes strong. There's not a single woman that I've been with in the last, I would say, 5 to 10 years that I didn't do all the same shit for, that didn't appreciate it and basically made me be like, all right, fuck it, I'm done. I'm good. I'll pass. I'll wait. Literally. You know why? Because as soon as I stop doing stuff, the slack never gets picked up. As soon as I stop doing stuff, like I won't do things. Like now I'm to a point to where the tests that I have are just natural in anybody that I start to get close to. They just start coming out in ways. Like I'll stop doing certain things just to see if they'll pick up, right? Like, all right, if I'm in a relationship with somebody, right, and I'm consistently busy all the time, right? So I do something like start creating clutter, right? Now, if this person wants to be with me, there's 2 options to this. There's 3 options, actually, okay? Let me give you these 3 options. 1, first off, when you see that there's clutter building up because I'm super fucking busy and shit, wifely duties, you would just come in, grab that clutter and put it to the side so that it's not something that would even be on my mind, that would get in the way of hindering me from doing the things that I'm doing that are providing for you. That's wifely status. Girlfriend status is, I'm going to bitch at you until you fucking do it. And a waste of time is, I'm just going to leave you for it. You get what I'm saying? Do you see the differences there? The one that's fully feminine, that's constant in herself and when I say fully feminine, being fully feminine is also a position of nurturing. You see, men fully in their masculine are subservient to the woman that they're with. Women, when they're fully in their feminine, are caterers. They cater because it's either going to go to the child or it's going to go to the boyfriend, or it's going to go in that direction because women are naturally caterers. You cater to the seed and create the baby, right? Your thing is regulation of energy, right? And so when you're fully fucking, look, the woman that walks into the office that isn't dressed in all the tight clothes, that's in the successful relationship that she goes home to every day. She goes home from that office, cooks that man a meal, and motherfucking, does catering type shit. And it's not because she has to, it's because she wants to. She wants to because she has a value in him. And so she's comfortable with him, which puts her in a mode of, what can I do for you to make this easier for you or better for you because you do that for me? Right? A selfish individual will leave you, will dog you out, but they won't fix the problem. They won't take the initiative to step up and fix it for you. Meanwhile, right, everything that you're doing is conductive of the thought of, would she approve or disapprove? So that's going to what? End that shit quick. You get me? See, you guys are the ones that are crucial as far as emotional regulants, right? Regulating feelings. That's why the kids always run to the mom and the father's the disciplinary. The father shows the restrictions and the mother shows the empathy. This is a solid foundation. That's your balance. Okay? This is why you need both. Because the mom cannot be restrictive the way the father can, because the father can punish meticulously without allowing the feelings to overwhelm him. That's why most fathers are hurt by the fact that they have to discipline. It hurts them, but they do it because it's necessary, because it's analytical, and they understand the consequences of it not happening. So the father is accepting of being rejected by the children by the time that they hit their teen ages, and knows that they're going to be standoffish towards him because of the way that he has to conduct himself. But he knows that in the long run, they will appreciate it. And so he does what he has to do. The mother, however, will not. The mother will coddle the child, and if she doesn't coddle the child, it turns into loud, abrupt fucking screaming matches, fights, and overly abusive punishments. Because the mother cannot handle the role of the father. She can't, because y'all base everything off of the emotion. You want your kid to love you. You want them to fucking want to be around you. You want them to fucking, so you won't cross that bound, that necessary bound, and you can't do it without, because that requires a logistical fucking meticulation that is not built into your structure. This is why single mother households end up with the boys in jail and in prison, and single father households end up with structured individuals that move forward successfully. It's because the father instills the discipline that's necessary to ensure that their child can survive in the world outside of them. That's what every man does in a relationship as well. No man wants to get with a woman that will be a failure upon his absence. Well, no sigma anyway, because that doesn't show. Think about it like this, right? Because our planning of the future with you includes our death. It includes us disappearing. It includes tragic things happening. And so the thing that a sigma looks for above everything else is, would you be able to hold down the household if something happened to me? Because they're dealing with things from a perspective of a family that you're looking to create in the first place, which is why the test of falling back on contact and providing space is a necessary test for a sigma. Why? Because if you can't deal with shit when he's not around, if you can't conduct yourself in a respectable manner, if you can't fucking make things work for you when he's not around, then there's no future for the family if something happens to him, which means that you're not fit for the role of being the mother of his child. Do you understand that? No man that is seriously trying to build a future with somebody is going to want somebody that he knows that if he fucking gets into a car wreck and fucking breaks his spine and can't walk and can't provide anymore, that means that his whole fucking family is going to fucking go poured into the fucking hood and live a horrible fucking tragic fucking life. No man wants that for his future. And when you're dealing with a sigma, we're dealing with all scenarios of the future that are fucking possible, not just what's going on now. So we're going to care about how you present yourself. We're going to care about the type of people that you hang around with. We're going to care about the type of people that you allow to speak to you and that you allow our business to be spoken to. We're going to care about everything that would jeopardize that future. Because we're not looking at it from the perspective of what's going on right now. That's why if you get mad about something and you get pissed off with us, we still stick around, even when you're treating us, you could treat us like shit for like a couple of months and we'll know that you're just going through a fucking phase and we'll stick around for it. But let us do that and you're out the fucking door immediately. These are the things that people fail at these days. And the reason why you can't keep a good man and why you're only getting approached by men that you find deplorable with their conduct, the way they fucking hold themselves, the way that they do their business. Stability is not a financial thing. And that's the other problem right now, is that stability is based off of finances the majority of the time nowadays. That's not where stability lies at, because money can disappear at any moment. You can lose a job at any time. You can be broke at any fucking possible moment. Your entire business could be shut down and you don't have a job to go to, and then you got to be stuck fucking being poor for like months and months and months on end while you're trying to figure out what the fuck to do. Are you going to want the partner that's going to stick through you through that, or are you going to want the partner that's going to run immediately? Well, you'll find out who they are if you run them through the fucking gambit first. That is too, Frisbee Mike. People don't understand that. People do not understand that if you're always... Look, even rich people aren't prepared to have kids. A lot of people base having kids off of, oh, do we have the finances for it? It doesn't fucking matter if you have the finances for it or not. It doesn't make it any easier. Yeah, I'll break down submit. But listen, right? If everybody waited until the time that they were ready to have kids, there would be no kids. Because the world's always doing crazy fucked up shit. The economy's always going up and down. Nobody can afford to have kids. When rich people have kids, they don't even fucking deal with them. They don't have the time to afford to have them because they're too busy focusing on staying rich. So they end up with a maid and getting taught all this really fucked up stuff and grow up with a whole bunch of resentment and turn into fucked up individuals. You understand? Nah, surrogacy isn't an option. Not for me. I won't have, bro. I won't do it, bro. I won't do it. You get me? I won't do it, bro. All surrogacy tells me is that the woman that I want to be a mother can't be a mother. Nine out of 10 times, the woman that wants surrogacy wants it because she wants to keep her body intact. 9 out of 10 times. The only reason that they really don't want the baby is because they want to keep their body intact. So why would I choose somebody that would skip out on the difficult part, which is carrying it, right? In order to maintain a figure or to avoid the pain of it. Look, let me tell you something. Hey, look, check this out, right? Check this out. Do you know that has anybody noticed that a lot of women seem to be a little bit more meticulous about the way that they operate things after they have a baby considered before they do? Do you ever notice that a lot of them go through a very big change and it's always for the better, but then it goes to shit as soon as they fucking, a lot of times it'll go to shit because of, the company they keep and shit like that. The reason behind this, right? The reason behind this is because the pain that they go through childbirth releases endorphins in their system. That mass boost of endorphins creates new brain cells, stem cells, and neural connections within the brain. So it makes them more fucking intelligent every time that they go through. Whenever you go through big pain, you release endorphins, which makes you fucking more intelligent and more able to comprehend and be coherent with things. Now, it doesn't matter if you start off with somebody dumb as a brick, they're still going to be dumb as a brick afterwards. But if you start off with somebody that's somewhat fucking intelligent, that's going to be increasing through the pregnancy process. And then once the hormones fucking calm down from all of that shit, then they start to, you'll start to see that displayed in the ways that they think and conduct themselves. So why the fuck would I want somebody that skips out on the part that's going to make them smarter to have a fucking child with? Do you think I want to deal with that same fucking mentality of before the child, after the fucking? No, there's no growth there. Right, it is the rite of passage. Bro, you're not understanding. Surrogacy is a tool of division. And surrogacy is not adoption. That's not the same fucking thing. Not even on the same level. I don't need to go to a different country. I don't need to raise somebody else's child. I raise an entire nation. There's not one of the fucking people that's in the fucking area that I live in that I don't fucking talk to. It doesn't matter what their age is. If they come to me with something, I do what people are supposed to do, which is teach the younger generations. So I don't need a surrogate. I don't need an adopted child. I've adopted an entire fucking nation of people. You get me? And if that means that those are my children, then I guess those are my children, my guy. Children come in all forms. It's a mentality. It's not a physical thing. You understand? The things that I teach are going to float around for a few generations. How would I deal with split custody? I don't think you're listening to any of the things that I said. There would be no split custody. Do you know why there would be no split custody? Because I'm not battling the mom in the first place. So if the mom wants full custody and wants to take on that role and responsibility, I'm going to get out of the way because I know what mothers do that are angry about fucking custody shit to the children's minds. And I would rather the mother of my child be at peace so it can get the fucking nurturing that it needs and come and find me when it needs the structure that it needs. Now, a lot of people are going to have a hard time fucking dealing with that. But the fact of the matter is that it's more dangerous to have a vindictive mother than it is to have somebody that stays at peace. So if I feel like I have to fight to be in my child's life, then guess what? I've got a whole nation that I'm raising for it to live in a better world in the first place. That just becomes more fuel for me to fix things all around me. Do you understand? Look, see, you got to remember, I'm not possessive of anything worldly, whether it be my child or whether it be the car on the street. I'm not a possessive person. I function off of what works and what doesn't work. All of my shit can be gone tomorrow and I won't give a fuck. I'll just keep moving forward and fucking roll on with it and build something else. I don't worry about that shit. You get me? I would love to have a full family structure. That would be great. That would be fucking amazing. It's not a requirement of mine. It is a preference, but it is not a, what do you call it? There's a limit to that reality in the one that we exist in. You feel me? So I would much prefer that my child be in a position where she's being shown love and being taken care of than have to put it into a position to where the mom is talking shit, fucking trying to train it not to like me and trying to do all this other crazy shit because it wants to share its trauma of me leaving them with the child. A very easy way to avoid that is to not combat the mother. I would never take a child from a mother. I know that sounds crazy to some people, but the child always goes back to the mom no matter what. Literally, no matter what. Exactly, Moonbug. That, bro, you don't understand. Bro, I grew up in a family where the mom and the dad split, and then I became my father's son, and I know what happened to me because of that. Right? Not only have I witnessed it in my own life, but I've also witnessed it in so many other people's lives that I would not want that resentment being made. I would rather just to let them enjoy the child that they made and enjoy that child for that being that child. A lot of y'all, some of y'all haven't came from vindictive mothers and shit or to know the extent. See, this is the problem is people really don't. People put a cap on the extent of what other people would do based on what they would do. I do not have that problem. I know full and well the extent of how far people go as far as being dark, and I accept that as a truth, and I operate under those guidelines to make sure that I don't have to deal with that type of shit. You get me? Let me help you out. Block. Boop. Mute. Boop. So, understanding this, I would rather not see my child have to suffer through that. Because whether you're in the child's life or you're not in the child's life at that point determines how much worse that gets. You get me? Sometimes it's better to just give people the peace that they say that they need. The question is, would you be a responsible enough parent to step out of the way if you understood that it would make the situation worse by you trying to do it? What level of parenting are you really ready to be at? You see, you have parents that have conditional love of their children, where, I have to be a part of your life and I have to be there, and it doesn't matter how fucking horrible that's making the situation for them. They don't give a fuck. Right? And then there's parents that understand, okay, me being in your life might fuck things up for you, so let me fall back because it's responsible. It's necessary. This is why I keep telling people, you got to be able to evaluate shit. Yeah, a lot do use children as leverage. A lot of them do, right? A lot of women use children as leverage. You know, like, I got a daughter. Why do you think I've been going so hard on fixing the fucking nation? Why do you think that my results aren't bullshit like everybody else's? Why do you think that I'm trying to bring everybody together? Why do you think that I'm trying to get everybody the freedom that they're supposed to have? Why do you think that I'm trying to fucking flip this whole fucking country out of all the bullshit that's floating around? Because I have somebody to fix it for. And although I might not be around her physically, she will, in fact, yield the results of my actions of being her father in ways that people won't be able to explain to her. But guess what? When she does start to look for me and does start to search me out, guess what she's going to find? A nation full of people that know me, that know that I did everything I could to change an entire world for her. And it's unavoidable for her to search me out because her brother loves me too, even though her brother isn't mine. Right? And so he reminds her of me and shit. So I know that there's already a little bit of turmoil in that household over that type of shit. But besides that, motherfucking, it is what it is. Yeah, I'll definitely be easy to be found by her. There's no other Jason Johnson that anybody knows that's making the changes that I am, and that's as known as I am around this country, literally. Exactly, bae. Let thy will be done. And I'm doing it. And I do it every single fucking day. And I stay consistent. You've seen me consistent for fucking 4 to 5 years now. I've reached over a third of the country knows who I am, one way, shape, or form. I know directly that there was over 100 million views on the Book of Johnson hashtag. There was over 100 million people. There's only 300 million people in this country. That means that a minimum of a third of this country knows me and knows my good deeds and knows the things that I've been trying to accomplish for everybody and knows the type of character that I have displayed and knows the type of things that I've gone through. Whether it was horrible or whether it was fucking amazing, I've been blatantly honest about everything. Whether you're talking about the bullshit that happened between me and my ex, whether you want to talk about the jail shit that I had to go through, whether you want to talk about my previous life, I fully disclosed everything to everyone. Because I have to. I don't have a choice. I'm doing what I have to do. Because I can't allow my daughter to grow up in the world the way that it is right now. And so I do my due diligence of providing solutions to everything. That's the difference between my platform and everybody else's platform. That's the one thing that I can say that I know that I'm different about. No matter whose page you go to, all you find is problems. This is a problem, and 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 this is a problem. Almost no solutions. Almost no solutions anywhere. Just more drama, more fucking fear baiting, more fucking bullshit everywhere that you look. Either that or their solution is go to God. And that doesn't fucking, that hasn't been working for them the whole entire time. No, why? Because God's within you. And all those people that go to the church, they ignore their morals and accept that they're sinners and refuse to stop sinning. So, like, there's a lot of work. A lot of teachings and things that need to be fixed. So, oh, thank you. Exactly, bae. That's exactly where it's at. That's exactly where I've been at. And, you know, people have made mistakes thinking that my character, because of the fact that I teach people spiritual things and teach people how to regulate their energies and things like that, because of that means that I'm not going to have outbursts, that I'm not going to flip out, that I'm not going to be fucking rude. No, that's not the case at all. People don't understand in nature. In nature, when you're backed into a corner, you got a choice. You got fight or die. Well, I'm not going to just roll over. Ever. That's not natural. In nature, right? When you're dealing with something that is disruptive to the pack, it's your duty to eliminate that one way or the other. So, I'm very cut and dry. I'm very cut and dry. That's why a lot of people can't deal with being around me, because I am... This is the reason why my friends only call me when they want a real answer. When they get tired of all the yes men, when they get tired of all the bullshit, when they get all tired of all the sugarcoating and all the beating around the bush, they come to me. That's when they come to talk to me about something. Because they know, male or female, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is and exactly how to fix it. And if you don't, then I'm going to be mad that you brought it to me in the first place. Because you just wasted my time. That I could have been actually helping somebody. So, my friends don't call me until they're ready to face their problems. And I prefer it like that. I'm perfectly fucking okay with that. I love that. I have no problem being that guy in the fucking friend group. You get me? I would much rather be that guy in the friend group than be the one that encourages you to do some fuck shit and feel responsible for you doing some stupid shit. So people stay in my circles, but they stay in my circles from a distance because there's a different reality over here. You understand? There's a different reality where I live. There is no sugarcoating. There is no fucking sensitivity. There is none of that. There's love. And love means that I got to tell you shit that you don't want to hear. And that means that you might get pissed off at me for telling you shit that you don't want to hear. But when you actually fix it, I'll be the first one that you fucking contact. Or we'll be friends again whenever you get over the fact that you really needed to do it. So I don't give a fuck. Father role. All the time in everything that I do. You can be mad at me now, but you'll appreciate it later. Most of them won't even admit that I was right about something, but they'll come back. They'll come back and just pretend like we're friends again for the whole thing. We are still friends. I don't give a fuck. I still love you. We're still good. But, hey, don't come to me with the bullshit, because I'll give you the answer. Motherfuckers don't. Everybody likes this Matrix shit. I don't. It's destructive. It's a false reality, and it doesn't work for anybody. You get me? That's the problem, is the shit doesn't work for everybody, okay? This Matrix shit that everybody's got going on has got everybody at arm's end all the time, fighting, fucking arguing over stupid shit that doesn't fucking matter, yo. It's all fucking games and head games. And if you get caught up in it, you can get lost quick. Okay? What's up, Choctaw? You here to talk some shit today? I've noticed you've been coming in my lives without fucking stirring up bullshit. Does that mean that you relax now? I'm just curious. You know what? Let me not even address it. Who gives a fuck? So, anyway. You got to understand, right? The way things are set up right now is extremely destructive for everybody, and so it has to be fixed for everybody. Okay? If it doesn't get fixed for everybody, it's going to be a problem for somebody. So, it has to be done. Because you see how things are going. It's not the way that you would want, or the way that you dreamed, or the way that you thought. So at some point, we have to make adjustments. Oh, thank you for the likes, man. Appreciate that. But look, ladies and gentlemen, it is the weekend. All right, I'm going to go and have some fun. And I got to take a break from all my book stuff. So I thought I'd come and talk to y'all, because like this is a subject that kept getting brought up to me throughout like the last couple of weeks. So I figured I'd just come and crush it real quick and break this down so that I can have my shit. Okay. So I will catch y'all later. I'll probably be back on later. I'm not really sure. Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. I like talking to you guys though. So, you know, I don't have too many like-minded individuals around me. So, like, you guys are my go-to for conversations that are more than just, oh, let's fuck bitches and get money and da-da-da-da. I don't operate under those bot-like mentalities. So, y'all have a great day, and I will catch y'all later. Peace and wellness to everybody.